He's also like double cheeked up on a Thursday night.
But I'm a bit sad we didn't get him like just sitting on you with the massive cake. I'm gonna milk you.
Do you really want to do this?
Cut that out. Cut that part out, Sonic.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Wow, in front of the guest, huh?
Damn.
3, 2, 1. Why did you make me do this? You're fighting to help a bunch of other people. I forgot the exact line. Think, Woolie! Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Combat Kings. We're your hosts, Sonic XD, true underdog in the Force Snake. And today, we have, for the first time, our very, very special guest that is joining with us, Woolie! I think over here.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome.
I hope your knee was as high up in that quote as it needed to be, because you have to pose while pointing at your head, and your knee needs to be way up here, leaning forward. You got to get the pose right. There you go. Yeah. Commit.
You just reminded me, Woolie, of the incredible art trend that started, where everyone just traced over it in Microsoft Paint and just made all those memes. I forgot about that. What a great time.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was
Everyone
awesome.
with the really awkward, like, yeah. Great meme. Great meme.
Because Omni-Man's very flexible. For all the planet destroying and killing.
Absolutely.
I was not expecting that trailer. I spent all day with family, and my phone died like 2 days ago. So if I'm not near a computer, I have no idea what's going on in the world. So I get home and I missed the trailer. And I was like, oh, okay, well. Nothing like making a reaction video at 10 p.m., right, fellas?
Nice.
Yeah. No, I love how, like, even the most simple sometimes you don't need like elaborate fatalities are hilarious and awesome, but sometimes the most simple, just a head crush with a lot of detail is like, ooh, god damn, that still hits. Yeah.
I'm looking very forward to seeing everyone's eyes get popped out. Like, oh, that was not a detail I was expecting.
The blood pooling in the face and turning it all purple was a nice touch.
Yeah.
I don't think even the animation did that as much. So, cool. But I'm a bit sad we didn't get him like just sitting on you with the massive cake. What a missed opportunity. Like the meme.
Just with his theme song, basically.
I guess I feel like the direct comparison point is going to be like, how much that like Injustice Superman is this move list going to resemble?
Oh,
you know?
Very good point.
How can they make him different from a Homelander? It's going to be so difficult. Shoving them both in the same Mortal Kombat game.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess
that
it's
is
like,
the topic.
like finding ways to make like their worst moments referential in their move list, I guess, is like the way to do that, you know? Giant, like...
I feel bad.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're on a roll. Go for it.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, like, I'm sure, like, finding a way for, like, Homelander to, like, bring you up into a plane somehow, you know? Like,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, just finding just, like, weird circumstantial moments to recreate scenes, you know? Who knows? You know, maybe find a way for him to, like, show off his weird breastfeeding thing or whatever the fuck he's into.
I had that thought yesterday because everyone knows, like, in a 1v1 that Omni-Man wins, and there's that famous quote from the death battle where he's like, "I'm gonna make you eat your own heart." But I could picture Homelander being like, "I'm gonna milk you."
Oh my god!
Find a way to do it.
I do hope he has some kind of, you know, like how Johnny has that special star meter. I hope Homelander has some kind of, either as a meter he can build by drinking the milk, or he has like a limited supply, like Naruto's bullets in P4, and it's just,
oh no,
he has the milk he can drink,
and
get some kind of buff.
I thought you were just gonna say like an egotistic. I thought you were gonna just say like egotistical meter or something, but that's even better.
And when he's all out, he teleports, he flies off camera and comes back and it refills it, right? He's got to go get some.
Gotta go get that fresh MM.
Speaking of flying, that was a nice touch too for Omni-Man at the very start. He flies around the world just to punch you at the very start of the match.
Classic.
Like, just so you understand what he can do.
The flash bit.
It's really, it's boom.
I was gonna say too earlier, I wonder if Tremor was a real person. I bet Tremor's a bit sad that he had to be paired with Omni-Man because no one's talking about Tremor. Everyone's just talking
Really?
about Omni-Man. He's like, oh man, I'm just the brown ninja character now. I'm Rock Guy. Come on, guys, I shoot rocks. And sometimes they're really
feel like-
hot.
Every trailer reaction I've seen is just like, oh, Omni-Man, Tremor! That's kind of how I see the reactions go,
And I'm wrong, then.
basically.
I guess I'm wrong.
Tremor's first game was it Mythologies or
Special
what?
Forces.
Special
Special
Forces, I think.
Forces.
Special
Okay,
Forces.
Okay.
Yep. So that's the
Wow.
idea of what they're basing off his design in this game, essentially.
They
Well,
messed up though. They
yeah.
messed up. It should be the MK3 with like the segments. Come on, see Snake Nose. I was a bit sad
Oh, yeah.
about that. They pretty much.
Yeah, there's-
I mean,
there's
his rock arms
whole
look
kerfuffle.
cool. Like,
Whole kerfuffle on Twitter last night when I said Tremor looks like ass, and people were like, no. He
How
does
dare
not.
you.
How dare you? That's disgusting of you to say.
So
Tremor does wear hockey pads on his knees. He has the shin guards.
and I guess I'm curious, like, like what Special Forces moves are going to be referenced for his kit? Like what's to be expected?
Dog, you played Special Forces, bro. You can say what he did.
I did not, but I reviewed it.
Oh.
And I watched my friend play it, and I got information that way. I was kind of hoping.
Oh, okay. So you were doing a girlfriend review. Gotcha.
Damn.
Yeah, I think that channel's goated. No,
Yes.
I think all Tremor mostly does is like punch and stuff. I don't think he does too much because like that game is very unfinished. So a lot of the villains just have like 2 or 3 attacks and they move around. And if the Jax player, unfortunately, when you watch gameplay now, all the Jax players know what they're doing. So they just loop the enemy, and the enemy doesn't get to do anything. They just get punched and stuck in a hit stun, like when Woolie did Challenge Tower 300 with the Kung Lao tech. Like the enemy doesn't get to do anything.
There you go.
So
Exactly.
it's just like that.
Oh man.
I don't know what
Jesus.
Tremor can do in that game.
You know, I
I think
thought
he's kind of
coolest
almost
thing-
like it's like the anti-Jax in a way, just like your punches, grapples, ground pound. So I'm curious, what can they really give him to make him different from Jax, who is already a cameo? He's just going to throw rocks or bring up stone pillars.
We've seen 2 moves, right? The uppercut and the lava arm. Obviously, it seems like they're taking a lot of references from MKX because he actually changes like elements, like how he does in MKX.
That's cool. And he has the same voice too. He's definitely MKX voice Tremor. Like,
you know,
Which I think it's
Okay.
Kenshi's voice or Taka's. One of the two. One of those played him, I think.
what's up, Woolie?
No, I have to say that if I expected if I was going to show up anywhere that played Special Forces, it would be here on the Combat Kings, but I'm somewhat disappointed that no one did. Didn't do your homework, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of exposed myself there, but I got to be honest about it. When I hear a game's really, really bad, I just want to talk about how bad it is. I don't want
Oh,
to play it
yeah.
and have to experience the bad. But I will say it's cool that there's combos in it. I didn't even know that until I was like doing research. I was like, oh, they actually have the strings like from the games and stuff for Jax. So you can do like square, square, X and all that, and you can fire guns. The problem is once the enemies start using guns, it's that Metal Gear Solid 1 kind of issue where they're off camera, but it's not a stealth game. So they already know you're in the room and they can shoot you off camera. And you're like, oh, what's hitting me? You have to like blindly fire in that direction and hope you hit something.
Oh boy.
And, yeah.
Okay.
That's the game's main issue, is it's got that old school locked camera Metal Gear Solid kind of thing. So,
Right.
It started out kind of going off the early demo that they showed where they had Sonya in it as a playable character. It looked more like a Tomb Raider clone, so it still had that like tanky control, but things changed. I guess it went for more of like a 3D beat 'em up style because they had like less than a year to make it when half the team left.
And if I remember, and
that game had a
the camera's kind of like above you, right? Like, yeah. So you can't see as much as if it were kind of behind the shoulder in a way, like where that would have been less of an issue.
Yeah, and I should have said Metal Gear Solid 2, I think. My bad. I don't think 1 had that as much, did it? Am I getting those games mixed up? Which game had the fixed camera, but it was still pseudo 3D? Was that 2? No, that was 1, wasn't it?
No,
I think.
one was. I mean, they're both in that same place, but like 2
They
let you
both the camera
aim
angles.
over the
Yeah,
shoulder. a little
Yeah,
bit.
okay. So I was correct.
Yeah.
Good. Cut that out. Cut that part out, Sonic. I wasn't wrong after all. You can omit that part. You're Mr.
Don't worry.
Snips. You can edit that out.
I'm not getting paid enough for this. But anyways, so the Tremor in the trailer. I feel like we're all happy Tremor is in the game, but I also like agree with Snake. I just kind of am like, man, but his MKX design is so goated. It's like that's the one I wanted to see a bit more, and
I wanted to see it back, but done better.
it does feel like a copy paste of the current ninjas we have. It's just like color palette change, skin material color palette change, bada bing bada boom. Okay, we're done.
I made the comparison. So I made the comparison to, remember in MK11 when they brought that skin over, and each of the ninjas had the faction logo on the flap, and then they added the costume for Rain when he was added, and it has the Lin Kuei logo because they just used Sub-Zero's model, even though Rain has no connection to the Lin Kuei ever.
Oh.
So it's like, will we find a Lin Kuei logo on Tremor's outfit this time?
Yes.
We better. I thought of a worse comparison. I was like, in my mind, I was thinking it's like if they added Scarlet into the game as a cameo fighter, and it's just Red Frost. Like that's kind of how I feel with Tremor in a way.
Just warning you guys, the fire alarm went off in somebody's building. Oh, it stopped. Good. It was getting progressively louder, and I'm in the final building segment of the apartment complex. So I was like, guys, brace yourselves. You may get like flash banged by a really loud fire alarm going off in the entire apartment. It's just taking its time to get to me.
Didn't hear anything,
turned off. Okay,
thankfully.
Oh,
yeah.
It was coming. It was coming. It was like Jurassic Park with the water in the glass. Like I felt it approaching. I was like, no, I must warn my comrades. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't hear anything.
So just like looking at a glance here, because I'm one of those people that definitely didn't recognize who Omni-Man was fighting in the trailer initially, but the main thing that the ninjas have going on this time around is they're all kind of like young WB cute boys, and I don't think Cameo's got necessarily that energy going on, you know, even though he certainly could have.
Yeah. Could have had like swimsuit model Tremor, because he's known as like the really buff one. Like even in MKX, he's like a step above. Like they're already all juicing, they're all on gear. But like Tremor was like Liver King levels. That man was really big.
Could have been the gym bro of the ninjas. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he already had like the deep V, but like he was like barely wearing it in X. They could have made it even thinner, Borat style, and we could have had like swimsuit Tremor. Man, all the possibilities that were missed.
I think it's so unfortunate that like because cameo fighters should be characters that are like I think the character designs or the shape should be a lot more out there, a lot more crazy and stuff like that. Like what you guys are talking about, Tremor. The shape is like similar to how Scorpion and Sub-Zero look. Like I'm still not over the fact that Goro is like twinkified. It's like it's Goro. Like come on, it's like why is he like shorter than some characters in the game?
Yep. He's hunched over so they don't feel emasculated. You know, he's got to be like the correct size. Ed Boon told him his hurt box could only be so big, so he forced himself down. Yeah, it is a bit of a shame. How cool would it have been if they didn't care about that, right? If they didn't care about the size of things, because then you could have had like, you know how Shinnok can summon the giant skeleton hand and stuff in MKX? Imagine that's a cameo fighter, like for Quan Chi. He can just summon a giant skeleton fist that's just on screen the whole time and just like slaps you or punches you or whatever. Just like a giant arm, just constantly on screen, menacingly.
I mean, I'm
be kind of cool.
I'm kind of reminded of how long the years of Smash Brothers when like the arguments about whether Ridley could show up or not because Ridley's too big for Smash, and I'm just like, okay, if we're gonna have fun here, who cares? Let's just get Ridley in the game. The scale is fine, you know. It'll be smaller. We'll make it work, you know. So, sure, do what you got to do with Goro.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad they had the courage to do that. Just be like, no, we're just gonna make him smaller because everyone wants Ridley, so he's gonna be in there. It's just gonna be like human size, maybe twice as big. Yeah, why not? I mean, Bowser's in there. Bowser's supposed to be pretty big too. I mean,
depends on the game, but yeah.
Yeah, and of course the other thing you can do is like commit to the most insane size character. Like Abigail in Street Fighter is enormous, and right, you could have. In Samurai Showdown 6, there's a giant red monster, Kusari Gedo, that's like it looks it almost looks like too big to jump over, you know, but they kind of just did it. So you know, you can go that way too, but you have to like be prepared for the character to like probably like bug out the game in a ton of ways that are unexpected.
True.
There was the rock guy in KI, Aganos. Was it?
Aganos.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct's got some big guys too. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the all-time classic Onaga in Armageddon on the character select screen where he covers like half of it with his wings because he's so big.
Yeah, it's
True.
He's just covering the entire roster.
If this is base roster, I get it. It's because they need to get fatality. So similar size, okay, I get it. But cameo fighters, you should have just gone crazy with it. I think Motaro is pretty much the only one that is the exception out of everyone, like size-wise, that is like weird in an awesome way. So, but yeah, I want Goro. I want bring back Buff Goro.
Yes, bring back Buff Goro. But NetherRealm, if you do add a big boy character who is really big, please don't do what KI did and pull the camera back. That was cowardly. Keep the camera in the same spot. Just have Agano so big that he's covering the health bar. Like that's the kind of energy I want. I don't want them to zoom out because that just makes it less fun to me. It also makes like the regular characters look tiny. Yeah, or have him hunched over and have him peek in. Like that's completely fine. That's what I want. I want everyone to see how big he is. Don't change the camera for him.
It could be for a fun boss gimmick where you can't see how well you're doing towards the end of the fight because he's just covering his whole half the screen.
Yep.
It would be cool if
characters.
It would be cool if like the universalizing or making characters like I guess fit a bit more with a scale that matches the playable characters is because there's a possible intention that they could be playable for a 2v2 mode for reals in the future, you know.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's funny you mentioned that, Woolie. The code exists.
I heard rumors of this, right? And I when I first saw the announcement trailer, that's what I assumed was going to happen with this game. Is I assumed this was a dedicated 2v2 mode that would be like a tag fighter for the franchise, because that's a really like instead of just being a bonus mode, being the main mode up front would be like a really cool way to go. So it was a little bit of a bummer when unfortunately it turned out to kind of not be that. You know, I was really hoping.
Yeah, I think the tag mode is like. Because you know you can get it in the code. Like people have uploaded videos of them actually playing it. So I think the idea is like, even though we could do it and we like have it in the game, we want this game to be assist based. So because of that, we won't add this mode in, despite the fact that we have like tested it out and stuff. Because we really want the cameo fight. We really want the assist based gameplay in the franchise and stuff. That's how I feel like about it.
Yeah, and you know, if you take a look at like for example, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, like they did a really good job of like that's a game where your assist is heavily involved in the main moment to moment gameplay, but you can also just switch to them, you know. So like having an assist that jumps in, that covers and extends your combos, does 3 different things, and then occasionally like can even like sandwich you in similar ways to, you know, like the best pressure setups, but then you could just hard tag to them is it's always fun, and it's a thing too that I think it also would make the reboot like not make more sense, but it's kind of like plot wise you have the reasons for it, but then like gameplay wise too, it's just it's a completely different take on things, you know. Anyway, that's just me, but anyway. Yeah, I agree. I could see. Have you completed the story mode, by the way? Just making sure. No, I have not.
Okay. We gotta be careful what we say here.
Yeah, that's I to be perfectly honest, it's I mean, I'm always down to come talk about fighting games, certainly. I haven't done a ton of MK1 in general, but, you know, I'm gonna...
He's too busy practicing Aki in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna just... Hey, look, I'll just sit here and be a poser for a while. It's fine. I can front, you know? No, I'm kind of, like, waiting on the possibility of Kotal Khan showing up, maybe, hopefully. I would like
a fellow Kotal stan here. We appreciate that here.
I would like the return.
Sonic, that's your cue to show the shirts.
Hey, there he is. Yeah.
I also have the figurine myself.
Yeah, look at that. Wow.
There he is. That's like literally one of the biggest characters on my channel too.
No,
we love our We love our KK
He
here.
can't get any respect. God damn it. I just want to hear
boy.
on your knees. You know, I want him back
Never forget his MK11 trailer where he gets his ass kicked by Jackie
in his own
Brooks.
trailer. Of course, of course. God damn it. Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't started the story mode like at all, right? Like nowhere whatsoever, or
No. I have not started the
Okay.
story mode.
because there is one part where they actually do like mention him. So like
I saw a
exists-
screenshot. Yes, I saw a screenshot because people love to let me know how Kodal is failing. It's become a thing, right? They're like, "Oh boy, certainly picked a horse to bet on," you know, like. So yes, I did catch that he was off-screen defeated, you know.
That was a
It's
funny
okay.
moment. He's not alone though. The same thing happened to Goro and Motaro apparently. Like Raiden was
Shiva.
dusting everybody off
Shiva,
camera, and Shiva.
No, Goro isn't
like
even
everyone's
mentioned,
being
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
He's
Shiva
forgotten.
then, okay. Dang, Goro's not even part of the tournament anymore. Liu Kang really did change a lot.
Straight up tipping the scales in Earthrealm's favor. Goro will not be in the tournament in this timeline.
Then whose bracers do we steal and give to the new Kung Lao stand-in? Oh well.
No, well, I was mentioning the story mode stuff because, and I didn't want to spoil things, so I'll talk about it more vaguely. There are parts in the story where it's like you get cameo fighters to help you out in the story mode and stuff like that.
Okay.
And partially in the like when you're fighting it, it's like, okay, obviously this guy isn't next to you, but you can still summon him and use their cameo abilities because of gameplay reasonings. And it's like, okay, despite the fact that, I don't know, I'm Liu Kang and I have a cameo fighter, a Kung Lao or something like that, he's not fighting with me, I can still use him. Okay, I got it. It's just a gameplay thing, sure. But then there will be parts in the story where it's like, two characters show up and get ready to get in their fighting stances, and when you beat one, they both get knocked down. So it's like, oh, I did fight both, except one of them is a cameo fighter then, in that sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
In those cases, I think your tag team idea would have worked a lot better in the story mode in that way.
And also, like, in the intro, like, trailer reveal, like, Liu Kang's like, it's gonna be a 2v2, like, you know, like, or he said, like, isn't there something implying that it's actually like a pair fighting, you know?
Each shot was like, oh, Raiden and Kung Lao, oh, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, Melina, Katana. It was more like, are you gonna go the good guy path or the bad guy path? You know, choose your destiny kind of stuff in that trailer. But it did have that feeling, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was just reading too much into it, but like I feel like I was kind of expecting it from the way things were framed. Yeah. Oh.
What we got instead was in invasion mode. We get the chance to turn right or turn left.
Oh,
That's the actual choice.
boy.
Everything else is
boy.
predetermined.
Still waiting on those lobbies, you know.
Yeah, invasion
The
mode's still
lobbies?
fun.
Oh no! Like I would like when you go to play online. One of the first walls I hit, because like usually when we do get into fighting games on my channel, I like to jump in and play with the crowd and whoever's watching and stuff. But there's only private match or just straight like random casual or ranked. So it's just weird that there's like lobbies are missing, unfortunately, and. It's the ability to make a lobby is the best way to kind of like play with a community that's not everyone on your friends list, but also not just rolling the dice out there type of thing. So
Yeah. I think there's still King of the Hill, right? Because I've heard some people are doing that.
That's there as well, but I think the options are still just private or
Okay. I see.
random. Yeah.
He wants to be able to like set up a lobby, and then everyone following him can come in, like a first come first serve kind of thing. That'd be super fun
Exactly,
to just play
yeah.
with the community.
And it's
Okay, I understand.
it's a really good feature that so Street Fighter 6 is has that set up, and I want to say previous MKs did have it too. I want to say at least 11 did. Maybe I'm mistaken though. I'm not sure.
Dog can answer that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall. I don't think that it did. It sure would be cool if Mortal Kombat added a lobby system. Just don't make it mandatory. I hate when it's mandatory. Like in Guilty Gear, where if you want to play with a friend, you still have to go into the hub and walk around to a certain spot and then invite them, and then they play with you.
Yeah, if you can just do like a direct invitation, that'd be good. It doesn't have to be that way, certainly. But
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 nailed it because they have both. Yeah.
Exactly. Jump in a room.
I remember when like the Street Fighter 6 trailers are going out, they just had one trailer just dedicated to telling you all the great online mode features that we're going to be able to use and all this stuff. And it's like, wow, there's a lot of like thought put into this part of the game and stuff. I was like very impressed with that.
Yeah, it's because again, I think it's a unique kind of situation fighting games have versus other genres where like, well, maybe not, but like there's the different scenarios you want to play this game in. You know, there's going to be like, okay, locally online or locally offline on your couch with someone in your house, right? And then like playing against the world and testing your ranking out and seeing how strong you are, or like practicing against, you know, random people or such, as again just out there. But then the ability to like go up to a cabinet and like find somebody that's playing a certain character. You're like, oh, I want to practice against, you know, Aki just came out, for example. So I'd go to the battle hub and like look for that person. It was cool to be able to just be like, yeah, I want to train against, you know, someone who's a strong character that I'm you know, struggling against or that I don't know about. And then again, like in these scenarios too, where it's like, hey, I'm having a tournament or I'm playing on a stream or something, and I want to be able to play with people that are just like, again, not all on my friends list. I don't want to have everybody on my friends list, but I do want to play with the community kind of at large and kind of be able to jump in and out of an official sort of match in an FGC kind of context, you know. So that's what this kind of like in between the world and your best friends. We need like a step here.
Oh yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Yep. As someone whose channel pretty much hinges and lives or dies based on a Mortal Kombat game releasing, it does sadden me that now that enough time has passed, the Mortal Kombat 1 slander has begun. World Tour is better than Invasion, okay? I admit it. It's way cooler to walk around an entire city.
You've been denying this too long, dog. I mean, you keep hammering it down. Oh, Invasion. I mean, sorry. World Tour is not very plot-wise. It's just nothing much happens.
That part's true though.
Yeah, it's better than Invasions, unfortunately.
I just finished it. I just finished World Tour like literally.
World Tour? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I took my because I was going through a Let's Play of that, and you know, it took some time getting around to it. It is definitely like content wise, there is not a lot of like compelling plot things happening there, right? But it is like the bones of what a fighting game story mode can and should be. I think like MK9 obviously like introduced the cinematic fighting game story mode to the world, and World Tour is like how to do the single player environment, like with like RPG running around, leveling up and all that. And I think if you just kind of made it so that the story events like didn't suck, then you'd have a good thing. You'd have a good product here, you know. But,
I see.
But there's like fun stuff in it too that is, you know, like there's like a little mini game called Hado Pizza where it's just like you have to do like little Hadoken motions, and you know bottle breaking where you like charge a sonic boom input to like slash and chop things, and you know, like little things to like that to kind of like get you to do the in-game moves, you know, in the story would be a cool thing to see here. But yeah, it takes a lot of effort, but I would like to see that for other games. I'd like to see MK try that out for sure.
Yeah,
would be awesome.
I haven't played World Tour yet, but I've heard it's like, I have heard it's like, how can Street Fighter take what Mortal Kombat was good with, deceptions like a conquest mode, and do it themselves and that kind of stuff. I have heard it's like you said, like the story wise, it's definitely a lot less like nothing really happens.
Yeah.
It's much.
It's much more of a. But a lot of shit happens. But for most characters, not very much happens.
It's an excuse to kind of like get your custom fighter to like build out moves and hang out with the Street Fighters, right? And so that's the thing is like if you're building out a custom character and like you want to go meet you Zangief and then train at his gym, and basically dating sim. You want to have a dating sim where all the Street Fighters are standing around. And you give them their gifts, and then you watch them blush and be like, "For me." Exactly. That's it. That's really it. Yes, Shiva, for you.
Man, I forced Cammy to eat so much gross food just to get that leotard. Because for some reason, her most valuable item is something she doesn't like, but it gives you like +10 whenever you like feed it to her. And each time she's like, bleh. Well, I ate that. It's like, good. Now eat 9 more, and then put on the leotard.
It cuts to dark, and then like it's like, okay, I got it down, I swallowed it. And like, why are you doing this? This is horrifying.
Why is this
it's the same with
stats?
Luke. You force him to play a scary video game, right? Like that's Luke's #1 thing. He hates horror games, but you force him to play it over and over again, and he keeps leveling up quicker.
Some of their #1 things are like the things they hate. It's weird. Yeah.
That's funny.
I was lazy with Jury and just gave her 50 gift cards. She seemed happy enough about it.
Nice.
And then also we got Tekken Forces has been leaked for Tekken 8.
Oh,
so
yeah.
just
Tekken
even more Mortal
Forces.
Kombat slander.
What
You're showing,
is
like, the
Tekken
screenshots?
Forces?
The
Go ahead,
screenshots make it look like a Muso game. It just I saw pictures of was it Lars, I think, just like facing a crowd of like 50
they're bringing
Mishima
it back?
soldiers. It looks like it. Yeah.
Oh,
And-
wow.
Dynasty Warriors.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's absolutely
Dynasty Warriors, yeah.
Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, the Muso series, right? Like it just looks like you're going to be doing one of your combos, and then you're going to hit a crowd of 100 people into the air, and they're going to go, like it's wildly, like ineffectual
Interesting.
mobs coming at you, standing in a circle, waiting to be air comboed.
Their fault for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm really hoping you can pick which character you use because I want to powerbomb one character with King, but the powerbomb shockwave sends everyone else flying into the air.
Yeah.
Goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or you do a giant swing and the giant swing knocks everyone away as you throw one guy. Like, it would be epic. I hope it's
yeah.
not just Lars, but I'll still take
Exactly.
whatever we get. My point is, the MK1 slander still hasn't stopped for that reason. They're showing screenshots of Tekken 8, this leaked mode, and being like,
I
we
know
got
what you're talking
invasions, though. We got invasions.
I mean, look,
We can
Based on
power
what you're
walk from spot to
describing.
spot.
based on what you're describing, if you can pick Leroy and then have him call in Sugar the dog to just run through a crowd of soldiers,
Oh,
that
Game of the year.
is the best single player fighting game. Like, you can't beat that.
Game of the year right there. If you can do that, yeah.
Just-
I think.
I want to play as Coffee
Ball.
Girl and unleash my caffeine-driven violence upon everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, this needs to be
Start spilling the hot coffee on everybody. Oops, oops.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have not seen Invasions. How does Invasions work
Oh.
exactly?
Want to go ahead, Snake?
Well, it's kind of like a board, and you go from point to point, and each little node will have a fight attached to it, and the fights will be against a specific opponent, and there'll be certain conditions, like Towers of Time, effectively, but like now in like a trying to give it a bit more personality.
Okay.
But in doing so, they've actually made it worse, because in Towers you'd be like, here's a tower, you'll fight Scorpion, then Sub-Zero, then whoever, and it'll all be different locations with different conditions. But here it's very specific because the season theme is fire, so most of the conditions are going to be fire based. And because you go into different mesas, which is a map based on one of the game stages. So first you're at the village with the tea house, then you go to like the town in Outworld and the Living Forest. You'll be fighting in that location against a handful of characters each time. So the first, after you get past the Johnny Cage introductory part, you're then going through the village and you're basically just fighting Raiden, Geras, Kitana, Kung Lao in the tea house stage over and over again with some fire conditions. And
Different color palettes
goes-
too, by the way.
Okay.
not even that many. Like, even though they have the new fire-themed color palettes for all the characters, they don't even really use most of them. I don't think I ever saw like the fully tatted up Melina at any point.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
And also,
It-
there's some
it
really,
feels
terrible
like a-
modifiers too, Woolie. Like some of them ruin your entire afternoon.
Oh gosh.
Like the screen goes black for the entire fight, and you just can't see anything but health bars.
That
and you're like,
sounds
huh?
fun. Awesome. Wow.
There's one where both characters just start coughing every couple of seconds, and it stuns them. So they're like, then the opponent takes their turn to cough, so you can try and hit them before you cough. So it's hard to get combos going or anything.
Coughing.
You just have to hit them with your hardest moves.
What is this?
And the
Smash Brothers melee Sakurai bullshit. Like coughing,
Yeah, pretty
tripping.
much.
And the
great.
coughing stages, like on the later parts of the invasions mode, is so ridiculous. You literally cough every 2 seconds.
Oh my god! And
It's
it
like you
interrupts
can't
what
do
you're doing.
anything.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ!
Yeah, you can't do anything.
The sneezing mechanic.
I
you're gonna
recorded it.
Good. Like, oh my god, what?
I recorded it and wanted to post it on Twitter and be like, I don't know who got fired for this, but I need to know someone got fired for
That
this.
is an-
Because this is like literally I can't play the game.
Anti-fun. That sounds anti-fun.
Anti-fun.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Was it the smoke, the black screen, and then what was the other one that was kind of
Chaos
annoying
thing.
too?
It randomly mixes up.
Oh, yeah, that
it
one's
doesn't stop
so
mixing them
weird.
up. They keep
Upset
being
stomach,
mixed.
maybe.
No.
Diarrhea. No. Okay.
Yeah, you can explain this.
That's the Bo Right Cho season. It's going to be like season 5.
There is actually a Bo Right Cho ability in the game too. Funny enough.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you get
Yeah,
these
there's
little amulets
one of
that you
the-
can use to gain certain abilities, like a fireball or so. And like the best one you can get is the character will just like crouch down and fart towards the opponent, but it's got really good stats attached to it, so it's the best one to use.
It'll insta kill the opponent if it hits them.
So it's just Bear
no.
from Tekken then, because he has an unblockable fart that does like crazy high damage when he's enraged.
Oh, yeah.
I think in Tag 2.
Kuma. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the chaos mode is okay. Let me just pull up my controller here. So you're using your controller, you're doing your shenanigans, and then suddenly you'll get hit by the chaos thing, and everything. I'm talking even the up, down, like left, right buttons will be randomized. So maybe this will be like your forward kick.
Okay.
This will be your block now.
Okay.
This will be move forward. And it's like, okay, I have to get used to like whatever the combinations is now, and then 10 seconds later it'll get randomized again.
You never get to know.
So you might as well just
It's not,
Stumble with the
it's not
button and that's
inverted.
Just
you might as well
It's not
mash.
something you can get used to. It's not inverted. It's completely random. So I think it can even be like up on like triangle or circle or something, and you're like,
God.
what? You have to just get lucky. That you can just try and get close to them and try and get a hit in before it changes again.
just do damage.
because you're
Just
not
hurt-
doing
just
any
hurt me.
combos, any specials.
like just take a chunk of my life and say that that's what I get, you know, for randomly landing on the bad roll and call it a day. That's wild. Okay.
Those are the 3 horsemen of the invasion apocalypse that nobody
Gotcha,
likes, and everyone
gotcha.
agrees was the most hated thing. The screen
Okay.
randomly going black, the coughing fits, and the randomized controls. And you think you're being funny with the slip and slide thing from Smash, but it's implied that every character is going to get their own season. So if Sub-Zero gets a season, I could definitely see icy floors being one of the hazards.
Yeah, yeah,
True.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
sliding
yeah.
everywhere.
Absolutely.
Give us the frost-like ability to make you slip.
There is a thing that when you fight Sub-Zero as a boss at one point, where I think it has the effect from MK11, where if you get too close and stay too close, you just get frozen. So that's going to be a fun one. You get frozen every 2 seconds during this snowstorm. Yeah, it feels unfinished. The mode feels like a proof of concept that they've not quite ironed out all the bugs for yet. So a lot of stuff in the game does feel like they probably could have done with another month or 2 to figure this stuff out.
Probably. Yeah. This game, I think a lot of people were just saying, it's like, there is a lot that's not finished, but it's fun. But there is a lot that's not finished. That does seem to be like what I'm hearing a lot.
And also, Woolie, there is some cool shit too. Like, for example, there are some actual boss fights in the game where, for example, with Scorpion, you deplete his first life bar, and then he jumps off screen. The camera zooms back a little bit, and a bunch of chains just start flying across the screen, and you have to move to a spot where the chain's not intersecting with your character, because in like 2 seconds they ignite and do damage to your health bar.
Okay.
So there's cool shit like that.
Like
which
boss
is
phase
awesome. And that's
moments.
segment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There are some pretty,
But-
yeah, I would say there's some pretty cool stuff too. There's some pretty fun boss fights. And I think I kind of enjoy just walking around the mesa, walking around like the little board that they made and stuff, kind of see what they put, little Easter eggs around here, little things to appreciate. It's not the most amazing thing, but it's still kind of cute to just like see what they've done and stuff.
Okay. And I'm
Not for the
kind of
random ambushes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Go ahead.
The ambushes.
you get it.
Ambushes and secret fights.
Yeah, if you're just trying to explore the board, like go back later once you beat it, because when you beat the season, you unlock this like new item that unlocks all the locked areas in the previous maps. So if you want to go back and explore those new areas, you first have to get there. And if you cross like 5 empty slots without fighting somebody, the screen cracks and goes like ambush, and you have to fight the AI anyway.
Okay.
And it's like, I just want to walk to the spot.
Old classic RPG
Basically.
style. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes after a fight, sometimes after a secret fight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
Every
5 or something.
fight or so, multiple times in one tower. So
Okay.
here's an extra
True.
fight. Like
You
Yeah,
unlocked a
just
secret
the-
fight. What do you get? Talisman. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Oh,
I will just in the talking about like how stuff stacks up with like World Tour, though I will say that MK has like something that Street Fighter desperately needed, which is the characters talking to each other. Because in World Tour mode in Street Fighter 6, you meet all the different Street Fighters, but none of them ever talk to any other Street Fighter at any point in the story. They stand around and talk to you directly, and that's it. You know?
Interesting.
They reference moments and little artwork where you see like, oh yeah, like here's a moment where, you know, Fei Long and DJ were doing a movie or something, but like or T-Hawk and Lily, you know, and things like that, but you just never get the characters themselves having a thing, you know. But they do have that in the arcade mode, so I guess that's kind of like reserved for like this part of it. But like, yeah, having like a fun like banter sequence between Ken and Ryu over time would have been a cool thing to, you know, like to kind of have integrated into the World Tour.
That is one thing that they, especially in this game, heavily have like a focus on, and it's the intro dialogues.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to see this character interact with this character, boom, intro dialogues. And this time the intro dialogues are actually a lot more like I'm not too sure what to say, like canon, because they actually literally talk about events in the story, which. So just in case, I would actually recommend you to finish the story mode before you check out some of the intro dialogues, because straight up they'll be like, "Oh, how's your day? Not really well because this character died," or something like that. And it's like, "Oh, okay, great. I just got that big spoiler in that." But yeah, that's funny enough, because of how canon the intro dialogues this time are. I recently just literally have watched like almost every single one of them, and I'm like written down like, okay, like what does this character say, and like what in relation to this, and yada 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 and stuff like that. It's been a huge list of like interesting things that you can find in intro dialogues.
The sassy banter is one of the definite like strong points for sure, man. Like I think what was it? I think it's Sindel versus Smoke, where we're like like she just laughs at him at the concept of fighting with Smoke or whatever. Like
He makes a joke. It's like he's like, the Queen of Outworld versus the King of Smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Laughing, yeah.
This guy.
bro thinks smoke is a weapon. He's just crying in the background.
I think
that's even more cutting, because I don't know if you know this, Woolie, but Smoke canonically wasn't actually born with any powers. He had to actually learn magic in Mortal Kombat 1, so that Smoke stuff is all him. Like he learned and mastered that, and then he's getting roasted.
I see. Okay, got it. Yeah, he's like Mysterio style.
I think there's a couple of characters who will laugh at the opponent for because they don't think they're that strong. I think Baraka laughs at Johnny when he says, "I'm the best in Earthrealm." Stuff like that. Intro dialogues. There's a couple of them. They just laugh at you.
Just getting roasted. Exactly. That's a solid comeback. It's just bah! I like it.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's great. The intro dialogues are a blessing, and also what's really cool, Woolie, is Mortal Kombat 1 is changing the game in one way. They're damnedest to make the arcade ladder endings canon, or at least believably canon. None of the endings feel out there or too ridiculous, and they all tie in with the story mode.
Okay.
So they're trying to lead that into the next game, they said. There's no Skullomania ending, for example, where everyone's just a skeleton man.
Exactly. Like
So,
the arcade
again,
endings are just who cares that couldn't have happened.
No longer what ifs. Yeah, they're actually believable.
So make sure you also beat the story mode before playing arcade mode.
Okay. I can't get.
What happened?
Yeah, and then the
You okay,
game really
dog?
wants you to go through the story mode first, and then do the arcade mode and look at the intros, and then do Invasions, because Invasions actually spoils Scorpion's ending. So we'll probably see more of that in future seasons.
Actually,
Okay.
the intro Invasions also kind of spoils the ending of the story mode.
Yes,
It does.
yeah, it's well, the entire story mode's ending.
It's like when I think Pat and Woolie played Mortal Kombat X's ladder before playing the story mode, and so you got spoiled on corrupted Shinnok like early. You're like,
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. But I mean, shit. Like, I'm just like in a world where the arcade mode endings are real, and like I'm like the one person like I play through Reiko in MK4, and it's like, oh, that's Shao Kahn's younger form. Oh, okay. Canonically, that's what he's gonna be, right? Right, guys? No, what?
Oh, that'd be such an interesting
they
concept.
walk that back. And it's funny you mentioned that, Woolie, because ironically enough, since General Shao looks so different in the new game compared to how he looked in previous games, and he doesn't have a customizable mask, you can just remove the mask, I think, is one of the options.
you can.
But Reiko does have different helmets. That's one of his accessory items. And sure enough, I saw someone playing online with a literal Shao Kahn mask from like MK9, and Reiko has
Straight
it.
up.
Okay.
It's actually
What
like
that means.
cosplayer.
you unlock it from his mastery.
He's a
So that's a
cosplayer.
really high level Reiko player too. Like he actually played a lot of Reiko to get that.
You know about the
Interesting.
meme, Woolie, where in Deception, that's also part of the lore. Like, Reiko does sneak behind Shao Kahn's back and try on his mask in his free time.
Oh, does he? Okay. I
think so, yeah.
Sitting on the
Yeah.
throne is one thing, but I didn't know about that. Okay.
Yeah, Khan just sees Shujinko and says, "Okay, you offended me. If you want to make it up to me, go find Reiko. Tell him to stay out of my room. I don't want him touching my helmet." So you have to go and let Reiko know.
Nice.
And Reiko's response is so great, too. He's like, oh, he knows about that? All right.
That's great.
Like, oh, no.
Fantastic. I want to say like 4 also was like the wild like 3-part ending of
Yeah.
Sonya, Jax,
Jared.
and Jarek. Yeah,
Jarek,
exactly. Jarek. Yeah,
Jarek,
yeah,
Jarek.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll get that wrong. I'm not dog here. I can't get that wrong.
Wow, in front of the guest, huh?
Damn.
Some people just never forget. Oh, my goodness. I wanted to move on.
Get cooked, bro.
I deserve it.
Yeah, well, just like 2 seconds after each moment, it's like, oh, you fall off the cliff, and then no, and then the pull, and then the backup, and it's one of the classic wild moments. But like, it was just like, oh, when you beat each one, there's like another step to it. Oh my god, the story, so intricate. This tapestry.
I don't
Yeah,
think it
MK4
happens
has
in
a-
thing
one,
sometimes.
but yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It kind of happens in one.
Yeah,
but
you
in a
had
boring
the
way.
one in Tekken 6 where it's like it was King, Armor King, and Marduk. And so King just finds evidence that, oh, there's 2 Armor Kings. So this is who the other Armor King is. Then go to Marduk's ending where he's digging up Armor King's grave to find out if he's actually dead. And then you go to Armor King's ending where it all kicks off. He's like, you killed my brother. And it's like, oh, that's what it was the whole time.
Whatever happened after that, we still don't know. Even after Tekken 7.
Yeah, I mean,
Tekken 7 was like Street Fighter 6. There was like no continuation to anything. It was like a joke game in a way.
right? Like Heihachi launches his family into space or whatever in one of the endings of Tekken. Like he just ties them to a rocket and off you go.
Good
Law and Paul have to fight aliens forever. It's wild.
That's why I
I
love
love
the
how they-
implication when watching your Let's Play, Woolie, because like it's revealed that Heihachi was unironically in the right all along because the devil gene is actually really bad and you have to kill the lineage to get rid of it.
Had to kill his
Wait,
little boy
Crazy
son.
psycho man that was playing minefield golf with his family was actually in the right.
He was
Just kills
right.
demons in creative ways.
Heihachi did nothing
No,
wrong.
he's like the Punisher, just creative.
He was correct to be a bad father, retroactively.
He was correct to shoot his own grandson.
Oh, you're right. I'm glad they kept that for the animated series on Netflix. He still shoots Jin in the head. Like what the
Oh,
Most
yeah?
powerful ability in Tekken. Gun.
Damn.
Which, to be fair, if Jin died from that, then he doesn't deserve to live, because even Heihachi, without the devil gene, in like I think Tekken 6, catches the bullet with his teeth. So
Yeah.
if a regular human can survive a gunshot and Jin's felled by it, then was he really his grandson?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're taking like Nina's move list into account, right? Like, characters in Tekken are getting shot constantly, so yeah.
They're finally Mortal Kombat tier durability. They can just walk off gunshots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think is one of the reasons why the new mode is going to be Muso, because it's like, clearly the Tekken cast have such high power levels. Having them fight like a small group of like 5 guys and get their ass kicked like in Tekken 3 or 4, Tekken Force mode, it doesn't really make any sense. So now they have to be fighting literal armies. I mean, Heihachi was like kicking missiles away in Tekken 7 story, he survived being blown miles away. So if he just rocks up, because Heihachi's going to be in the game somewhere, if he just rocks up and he's losing to like some generic mooks, no. But if he's just like god fisting like 50 guys at once, that fits with the canon better.
Yeah.
So-
Robot Heihachi's gonna come back. Excited to see him. Robot Heihachi.
Okay, so I have a dream, right? And it's like, okay, so Kuma is carrying on the legacy of Heihachi's moves in to some degree, but it's still Kuma, it's its own character, right?
Sort of noticed that in his current art and stuff. Yeah.
But I want there to be, because let Heihachi be dead, stay dead, not in the game, but have Mokujin have Heihachi's move list as a part of the select, of the random, and you could just have the random select character that plays as Heihachi canonically, that absorbed his energy. You know,
that is an interesting way of doing it.
I would love like Mokujin to be Heihachi move list, and that's, if you want to play Heihachi for like tournament purposes, you got to do it through the wooden doll. You know, like just leave it that way in the story.
It would be like that weird inclusion when Soul Calibur 5 had Devil Jin. Just for some reason, you could play Devil Jin, but just his moveset. You could not play as Devil Jin. And he was just in Soul Calibur 5, I think.
As a custom
Do you remember
character?
how to...
Yeah,
Just
you can just have his
moveset.
moveset. It was like an option.
Oh, that's
Do
interesting.
you remember how you unlock that? It's in like, I think it's in time trial or arcade mode. You can just randomly encounter a custom character of Harada with that moveset, and you have to beat him up. Oh shit!
Oh shit! Okay,
That's hilarious.
Okay. Nice.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm so sad that Ed Boon is very adamant about not being in any of the Mortal Kombat games. Like whenever someone asks, like, "Could you be a cameo character?" He shoots that shit down. He's like, "No, I'm not gonna be in the games. Stop asking for me to be in the game."
But aren't we? Isn't Noob Saibot just kind of the name reference there?
Yeah. But he's saying he'll never be like levitating in as like Ed Boon,
As a character
god of
himself.
games or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a Nier Automata moment where you fight
I was
the
gonna
actual
say.
developer.
I was gonna say like Nier. They're not
That's right,
cowards
yes.
about it. You know, Square Enix president take on
There
this.
you go.
Come on.
It was still more hype to fight the credits. Nothing will beat fighting the credits and saying, "I defy you, fate. I destroy the end of the game by killing the credits."
Just imagine
so cool.
just imagine an Ed Boon like move list where like he just pulls out Twitter and just starts tweeting live at you. and if it's true, then it does damage, but if it's a lie, then it's a mix up, you know.
Oh,
Me is the strongest
man, that is
cameo.
bad.
True or false? Ah!
You can also summon the whatever those things are called at the bottom of the pinball machines, because before he did Mortal Kombat, he was working
yeah.
on pinball
Oh,
games.
midway panel. Yeah. The panel.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
can summon the actual panel that goes, "Think," it just hits your character in the back sometimes, like "Think,"
Sure.
Pretty sick.
Super biased poll. The yes button is gonna like hit you in the back of the head, or the no is gonna be a low. You know.
Low, buck low.
Yeah.
Really, you're just getting these out. These are really good ideas, though.
There you go.
Damn.
Yo, Ed, that's
know.
free. That's free. You know where I'm at.
That's free, baby. If you don't want to put that much effort, just be a cameo fighter. You just need 4 moves.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Oh, what would his fatality be?
I mean, the obvious is kind of like just going into the code and deleting you from existence, you know? Like, if you want to play that role, just literally
I was thinking
finding
that,
your
but
line of
even-
code, deleting it, and you're like, ah!
The actual folder being dragged into
Yeah,
the recycle
drag-
bin. That's your name on
drag
it.
sub underscore zero to the recycling bin. You're like, wait, no, huh? And then just right click, empty recycling bin.
Pretty epic.
Oh god, fantastic! That's perfect. Nailed it.
Free ideas, Ed.
Oh, am I muted?
What? No. I just said free ideas, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, Woolie's just spitting them out. They're great ideas, but I was gonna say, in the Steam files for Mortal Kombat 1, if you want to add a mod or something, it's still named Mortal Kombat 12. Like the folder for Mortal Kombat 1 on Steam is called Mortal Kombat 12, and every subfolder is still called that too. And Sindel's subtitle.
Yeah, I was supposed to think of the
subtitle and story mode.
Yeah, there is a part, but let's not spoil too much about it.
Okay,
it's a great magical moment for Woolie.
Yeah,
okay. It's still in there.
That happens a lot. There's like project names for games where like the title will they'll know, like at some point in development, no one thinks to go back and like kind of rename and hide some of that stuff. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Too bad it wasn't called Normal Person Fighting, or whatever the Chinese translation is of Mortal Kombat.
That's the Chinese translation.
Wait, what? What is that?
Okay, so I gotta explain this here. I'm the Chinese. So in the Chinese title for the game is called like 真人快打, and if I were to actually translate it, it's like real person fighting. Essentially, that's what it means, and it's been that way for like still till today. It's still being called that. And my guess as to why it's called that is because of the first game they actually use live action people to film and like fight.
Live action,
real people fighting, yeah. And then there's so many different ways you can interpret it, like normal person, because you're not immortal, you're mortal, so you're a normal person, so normal person fighting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Huh.
And you can even find like that like Chinese title in the Tea House stage in Mortal Kombat 1.
That's great.
It's like that'd be like if the game Street Fighter translated into Road Warrior or something.
Right.
So it sounds like a racing game.
Yeah.
A Road Warrior.
So like I mean
game.
So there's a was it like not bootleg? There was a bad port that was called Fighting Street. You know, that was like in the first arcade version, they had Fighting Street. Yeah. And you see
Fighting Streets.
I mean, we've been through this, you know, like.
I don't know what old school 3D
asphalt.
fighting game it is, where you can like it's like an old Polygon era fighting game, that old, right? We're talking Virtual Fighter.
Okay, this is my
where
expertise. Talk to me.
One of the secret enemies is just literally a car. Like an upright car.
Oh, I think I know this one.
Fighters
yeah.
Megamix. So
yeah. See, I want that in Street Fighter, but fight an actual road with arms and legs attached to like fighting you. So you're literally a Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Fighters Megamix. That's the game that has like all these fighters and then like Sonic characters show up in there too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. It starts out as Virtua Fighter versus fighting Vipers, and then suddenly Knuckles is there, and then the car from Daytona, you know, and then and by the end they were just like, okay, anything in the office we can model is going to be a fighter in the game. The AM2 logo, it's like a little palm tree logo. It has no animation. It's a playable fighter, you know.
Oh jeez.
I think YouTube game list will be like top 10 weirdest like fighting games that ever exist. Like this one is always mentioned, basically. The Daytona car.
Mm-hmm.
Insanity.
Which one had Pepsi Man?
There was a Pepsi Man?
Yeah, Pepsi Man
as
was
a fighting character?
game.
Pepsi Man was in I want to say that Pepsi Man was in one of the NWO wrestling games, WCW versus NWO
Okay.
I think like I might be wrong, but I think like the original version of it had like that character in it before it was licensed and translated.
I did a short Google
He's in
search.
Fighters Megamix.
That's what I'm seeing here. Yeah, he was in there too.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what's so
Possibly
funny about that,
fighting-
Woolie,
yeah,
if you
fighting
ever want to feel
Vipers too.
old, oh nice. If you ever want to feel old, just realize that there are some people that when they played that game were like, oh, Pepsi Man's in this game. But if they're any generation later, they have to Google who Pepsi Man is. Like, wait, who is this? Why is this soda machine mannequin guy fighting me?
Oh yeah,
Who's this?
I
They
mean-
never saw the commercials. They never knew Pepsi Man.
Oh,
To be fair though, I've never seen the commercials. I've only seen the memes like years ago. So that's
Pretty good. Pretty good
Oh, yeah.
memes in commercials.
No,
What was topic number 2, Sonic?
but to be fair though, I mean, we're not totally done with Omni-Man, right? Or are we? Like, I'm not too sure. Like, that is our first topic.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted in a million different terrible
Omni-Man
ways.
versus
This is how
Pepsi
this
Man.
is how we do our podcast. We will talk about Omni-Man and then somehow get to Daytona being a playable character.
Well, okay. I guess here's a question. Like with each of the combat pack characters, there's going to be new cameos showing up, but we don't know who they are, right? Or unless they've been like.
No, we do know.
We do. Okay.
Well,
Well,
okay, we
It's
don't
a
know
little
how.
unusual because there are 6 fighters but 5 cameos, so we don't know exactly how that works. Also, they might have actually changed one of the cameos.
Recent.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
But to mention this
so-
though, we know there's going to be 5 cameo fighters, and unfortunately, I think literally when the first trailer dropped, like it got leaked.
Okay. So yeah.
Not even
yeah,
like-
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Amazon at it again. Amazon with the leaky boat.
Basically, yeah. If you want to base off of this is a story mode like well, you've seen the trailers, right? You've seen Mortal Kombat 1 trailers, right?
I've seen the trailers. Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen Chameleon, right?
In the background. She's not prominent, to be fair. She's just there.
It's
She's
a-
Yeah,
it's
in the
might
background.
not have registered that 100%.
Yeah, she's not in the game. However, like she's in the story mode and she's in the trailer, so it's like you put 2 and 2 together, you can kind of figure out what that's one of the other cameo fighters too. And then the other 3 are then I won't get into too much about them. I will say, luckily, because we heard a bit of like slight complaining about Tremor just basically copying like classic ninja suit design. Luckily, the other 3 are gonna be a bit more, and Chameleon are more uniquely looked. So that'll be more interesting to see in terms of their design and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I think Snake wanted to drop the sauce because one of the characters got like changed. Theoretically, we're not sure.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
actually, we
part
are
of the-
sure now. They confirmed it.
Yeah, because some
Oh.
listings have changed the listing because it's Chameleon, Movado, Farah, of Ferrator fame, and Tremor. The other one was going to be Johnny Cage, but they've changed it, and I don't know if I should say who they've changed it to because it's
Yeah.
a bit of a minor spoiler for the story.
Okay, I see.
So I
Yeah.
recommend getting through that story soon so you don't get spoiled.
Because I guess the original thought was like, with each of these guest characters, is there a possibility of like, okay, so Omni-Man's here, is Invincible gonna be a little cameo? If Homelander's showing up, will we get like the Deep as a little cameo?
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
That would be great.
Ed did confirm there will be, but guest cameos are a possibility, but they're not going to be coming with these. So it's always possible they might add one of those characters in like a season 2 or something.
Right.
But so far, all we know is that we've got these 5 who've been listed. Although one of them has changed, so it's always possible they'll just say, you know what, no one cares about Movado, let's put the Deep in instead.
Sure. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I guess that's
5
there's
Movado
potential.
fans, all 5 just cried.
Come on, Movado deserves a Darius moment. Okay, we need to get him to come back.
Oh, okay. Like the moment we go into the Deadly Alliance Deception, like Armageddon well, and start pulling out characters from there, it's like, I guess anyone can be pulled out and reimagined and saved.
Yeah.
I mean, like Kenshi kind of became this amazing badass for coming from that era that everybody likes now. So you can save everybody, but good luck with Su Hao.
I believe
More
he
like
will
Sue,
always
how
be a
did you
joke.
wind up in this game?
Ay.
How did you sneak in?
He was a
I would
pen in
unironically love
MK11. He was a poster in this game. He's coming, guys, someday.
Listen, here's how you do Su Hao, okay? You gave him an assist very similar to Raccoon in Dragon Ball FighterZ, where he comes in and just starts charging his chest cannon, and if you can keep him safe for long enough, he just keeps charging up the cannon until finally like a big beam shoots out, does tons of crazy damage. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
And then he destroys himself in the process.
So you can only use it once.
Dead
You can
forever.
only use it once.
Yes.
If you
you get
if you want to use
you get a save icon saying Su Hao is now dead on your save file forever.
Oh.
you can either choose to use that move, or you can choose to save it and then use his cameo fatality, and it's the exact same thing, and he does too.
I don't think Su Hao's even mentioned in any of the game at all, is he? He's not even like name dropped or like there's not even an item named after him.
I don't know, actually. You know, maybe. Let me make sure of this, because
There's like some characters that get dropped, like Woolie. Like in the invasion mode, one of the battles is just named Not Jade. The Tanya fight. So
in one of the intro
wow.
dialogues, like, because there will be like mirror matches, and sometimes there'll be like, your Empress is not like because it's Sindel in this game, and then the other Tanya will be like, Empress, we have Emperor Boraicho and stuff like that.
I love those fake leaks. You will just Photoshop the text, and it's like, you'll be hearing from Emperor Su Hao.
I think I remember you mentioned that one.
God
great.
damn it. Yeah.
See when I spread misinformation.
So, Omni-Man. What? Anything else you want to like say about him?
He has an announcer voice pack alongside him,
That's
J.K.
right.
Simmons. So J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons saying Scorpion wins fatality. That sounds pretty cool.
Cool.
It better make it to where if you win as Omni-Man, he says, I win.
Oh
The
yeah,
announcer.
that'd be awesome.
Dope as shit.
He's also like double cheeked up on a Thursday night.
Yes. He is. Holy crap! Like that. I cannot believe how lore accurate they decided to make him. Actually, is it lore accurate? I think it's even bigger than what it is in the show.
His butt's not bigger, but I think what's going on is he has like the yoga pants that women wear, where like the butt crack has a seam, so it just gets all up in there. Like you can see the crack is the issue. It should
The
go right
mass
over
is
both
huge. The mass is actually very big. Yeah. I think, okay, the very important thing is once Omni-Man drops and it's like, okay, you can get him to Mastery 35, unlock his gears and whatnot. I'm gonna need that capeless gear, okay? We're gonna need that. Get that first right now, the capeless gear.
Legendary.
Legendary!
I'm not
Stop
sure if
hiding.
Woolie knows this, but yep.
I was gonna say stop
Some
hiding
characters
that
have,
cape,
like-
I assume is what we're
Yeah, exactly.
talking about here.
Stop hiding that cape.
Because a lot of the characters, their mask is their customizable piece in MK1, and if you want the maskless version, you have to like get lucky and win the lottery by spending money at the shrine and hope that you get it. So I got maskless Sub-Zero.
Okay.
And it like legit says the rank of your unlock too. So if it's a rare unlock, they let you know. So it's like legendary. So capeless Omni-Man is like legendary rank, just so you can see his
Yeah.
button.
I see.
I have good news, by the way, Troner Dog. If you really want to get a maskless character, you actually can unlock it through the masteries.
That's good. I actually prefer the masks. I'm one of those weird people. I actually
of
want to get
course.
Reiko the gladiator helmet really bad.
I like seeing the lips move in the intro dialogue, so that's all. That's the only reason I would do maskless.
I've always been a fan of characters that have their entire face covered. Maybe it's because I'm a
Oh,
big
yeah.
Spider-Man fan. I love Dead Space, Master Chief. So many characters that just never take off their helmet.
I dig it.
I'm a big fan.
They look cool like that, yeah.
Judge Dredd, and I mean, like, or even just like Samus, where it's like, you know, the face is underneath there, but like the profile, the main thing you know is the helmet. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, yeah.
God, Judge Dredd would be such a good guest fighter.
It would be.
Just
We
comes
should
in
have
and
done Judge
just
Dredd
shoots
instead
with
of
high
Peace
Oh,
arms.
Keeper,
Judge
honestly.
Dredd, yeah, that would be fun. Judge Dredd could be
Even better, even better if they put him in this game because he's played by Carl Urban, who's also in The Boys, and he's playing Johnny Cage in the next movie. So you can
Exactly.
get three special skins
shit.
together.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a character that definitely fits the profile of like, the guests that have showed up so far. Judge Dredd would be fantastic, and like if there's a way to work in having like an ABC Warbot just kind of like drop in behind him and he like shoots it and hits you at the same time or something, that'd be great. Hell yeah.
Yep.
And you give him one of his moves is to have Heat Seeker rounds. So it's a zoner with a gun that you can't dodge. Just to really piss off the anti-zoners.
Listen, it's okay. It's a 2-bar special move. There
you go. Yeah.
It costs 2 bars a meter. He only gets 1 shot, but you can't escape it. You're like, I like jumping. It's still slowly. It's just coming for you.
You gotta bring in the Sub-Zero cameo to counter that. Bring in the Motaro cameo to. Oh, it's coming to me. Oh, Motaro cameo. Oh, it's coming back to you now.
That'd be such a middle finger. Wow, dump all your bar for that move, and I just say no. Fuck you. I'm immune to bullets now.
I feel like an awesome like potential move there too would be like he throws the bag of the drugs at you and you like inhale the dust and everything starts going slow, and then he can like while you're slowed down like completely like fuck you up, like that'd be really good.
So the Flash and Reptile and MKX basically. The speed move.
Sure, yeah, exactly. What's the over-under?
That'd be good for a fatality.
What's the over-under on the return of meat at any point?
Oh, unforgivable, Ed Boon. How dare you?
I'm still sad about it. I got tricked. I thought he was going to be a surefire thing. I was like, if you're going to bring him back, he could be a cameo. He'd be perfect. He's got the head bowl, as an iconic one. I don't know what else he could do. I'm just,
He is very not YouTube friendly, though, I would say. His presence is going to be very hard to censor.
Yeah. But is there...
If he's a cameo, you don't have to...
Okay, I was going to say, I take it from the reactions then that there's no secret meat story mode, like mentions or references that pop up.
And unfortunately, there are quite a few. We're gonna be very vague about them, but meat is unfortunately not one of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unless he's one of the guys in the flesh pits just chained to a wall in the background.
That's always me. That's right. That's always me. the guy in the MK9 church being like done with like the priest and stuff like that. Meat's on the table.
No, that's just a dying dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could change his color too, because the cameos have color palettes. So, like, since Meat is just a skinless boy, if he had color palettes, can he just be like Dhalsim in Street Fighter 2, where his entire body changes color? Like, why not? Or like Urien, entire body changes color. I'm a fan of that.
I'm thinking of the names. If he's gonna be like full green, it'll be like Zetera and me, and it's like full blue, Kaiten me, and stuff like that.
I mean, and the asset in terms of like the meat character exists already in the game if they have the full like X-ray body of everybody ready to go, right? So like you technically just can use what exists if they ever wanted to. But...
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of fatalities will just like burn the characters until they're just meat. So yeah, there is that.
I want a cameo ability where he runs in and just flicks his own blood in the opponent's eyes, and they're stunned. Like,
Diavolo style.
Yeah.
And if he's a cameo, you don't have to worry about
podcast. Don't do it.
What?
So don't mention JoJo.
Oh.
Yeah. So if Meat was a cameo, you could make it where, because you don't have to worry about, this fatality would make no sense on a skeleton where the face comes off because his face is already off. You could have the skeleton or the Armageddon version where he's the skinless man. So you have both classic meats as options.
Oh.
And by the way, Woolie, I like JoJo a lot. I'm not saying no JoJo for that reason. I just know it's a rabbit hole that we can't come back from.
That's exactly what I mean.
JoJo.
No, I say no because if you go down the JoJo hole, like I'm dragging this entire show in that direction, and we're not coming out of
that
it.
Was that was the only JoJo reference we're gonna try to keep, unless we have any more time.
Yeah, you don't. Or
after the podcast, we can just be all like, "So, what did you think about parts?" No.
JoJo Lands Part 9. Yeah, I just.
Okay. Have you read the manga? No. Okay, wait, so
that
Dio would be a good guest.
No, I don't think Araki would appreciate watching Dio get ripped to shreds over and over and over again by fatalities.
I mean, some of his like deaths are pretty brutal in this show.
A dog,
too.
Absolutely. If you could just put a random dog from JoJo as a character in the game, Araki would be super down to watch that animal get ripped apart constantly. God damn it.
Oh man. Has anybody made that joke? Because everyone's like, man, I wish life was an anime. And like they pop into an anime world, right? And of course the joke would be, oh, you fucked up. Like you're the wrong character in this anime world. Imagine they just appear as dog in JoJo universe.
Oh crap.
You recognize the art style, you're like, oh no.
You have 3 panels before something horrible happens.
Everyone around you looks absolutely normal, and all of a sudden, some like fashion guru guy starts walking up. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Live in perpetual fear of birds. Any bird.
It's fine. I'm like some poor animator has to detail a realistic dog anatomy getting splatted apart. Like, God damn it.
That's a good point, Woolie. NetherRealm needs to kidnap those animators because we need someone who's experienced true trauma like that to make the worst down 3 you've ever seen. We need people with that much trauma.
Guys,
I think you're the JoJo animators.
Okay, what's up with the animations? Like, what? Like, are we?
We're gonna go there.
Okay. We don't have to, but I guess it's just like, is it just a series feature at this point? Right? Is it a staple?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think for the most part, MK1 gets away with okay or good animations. I haven't spotted any terrible ones yet.
Have you seen the smoke kick?
Oh.
I'm gonna see if I can find that one because that's the one that people are dragging now.
I mean, I'm sure there's been. I'm sure I've seen like a kick or two that's just, like I don't.
The big thing I saw that even Maximilian dude pointed out was like when you summon certain cameo attacks, you're not allowed to keep moving when they're out. Sometimes you can, but for some of the attacks you can't move. But your character has to strike a pose, and for some of them the pose makes sense and looks organic. But for some, like for example, Johnny Cage pulls out his phone and is like filming the whole thing and kind of always moving, so it's fun. But then you have some characters who just do this. Like a solid 2 seconds while the cameo does stuff, and they're just like in a pose.
Weird taunts,
and that's way less fun. Yeah, they're just jarring. Like Rain lifts his staff like, oh, and just holds it. So the staff is just forever up there. And I like to think that the bad animations are a throwback to the old Mortal Kombat games when they were real people, and they're like, hi.
Yeah. We're stuck with that forever, I guess. Yeah, maybe.
I think the example that I have seen, which I think is completely justifiable, is when Johnny uses his like hype meter, where he just does like the triple nut punch and stuff like that. Like animation-wise, it looks very weird, but I get it. It's because the point is you're kind of like breaking the game to use those moves, the triple kick and stuff.
And I guess the other like the thing that I don't know why stance switch is a button.
It's still in the game.
No,
it's still in the game.
No one knows.
Is it just a joke at this point? Like, why? For what reason? Is it? I feel like it's kind of like, okay, like something like Ed Boon specifically just wants to he's like, I hate staring at my character's back or something like, like it's got to be one person has like one thing and they're just never gonna let that go. Because it's like, this is a whole button on the controller that you need for it's like, what are we doing? I don't get it.
It's like they got a button they could give to taunts, because taunt you have to like basically teabag down 3 times to do a taunt.
Which
Why
is
not give us
hilarious.
a taunt button dedicated?
You could.
That is pretty funny.
Granted.
And
Real
it gets
estate
even
on the
worse, Woolie,
controller.
because for some characters, they do need left trigger for an attack. And if you barely mess up the quarter circle or whatever input it is for the attack, but you still press left trigger, your character still does the stance switch, and you can't do anything during that moment. So not only do you not get your special move, but you also can't block, can't attack for that half second. You just get hit. It's the worst when that happens. It'd be
Who
better if it
mentioned
did nothing.
I think you press down to taunt 4 times. I remember one time I was in the game and I was just doing like I was like blocking and thinking, is he gonna throw a projectile? Let me duck. Is he? I'm not too sure what's going on. And I just start taunting like, what the hell? I didn't mean to taunt. Just press it 4 times. So here's the
Enchantress.
here's one of the kicks. It's not as bad as like MKX or like Terminator MK11. It's just, but it is kind of a little funny though. Like this smoke kick basically.
It's passable, I would say.
Yeah, it's not as bad.
It's
like
not like
they go
MKX like fence punching, where the character's feet stay perfectly still while they're punching, trying to get some range on.
Someone did say, Brusquo did say it looks just like DJ. DJ's your kick basically.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's there. I guess it's not just in like the it's not just in the keyframe though. It's in how we get to that keyframe, right? A lot of the times it's like, how does it look like there's a build up and then a snap into that, or is it just like a
I think Mortal Kombat is like like if you kind of slow-mo it down, it's like pose basically, kind of a sense. Like that's kind of its charm at this point in a way.
If the animation is too snappy without any in-betweens, there's no excuse, because Mortal Kombat is quite literally half as fast as Street Fighter. Like the fastest attack in Mortal Kombat 1 is 7 frames. Whereas in Street Fighter, that'd be garbage. Like it's all 3 frames, right? Or 4 frames for their jabs. So the idea that the in-betweens are smoother in Street Fighter is unforgivable. We have twice the frames to work with in Mortal Kombat 1. The funniest to me was Aaron Black's, where I don't know if you all know Eris, Avoid the Puddle, but he died laughing, reacting to like Aaron Black's down 4, I think. Not because the animation by itself is bad, but because he gets really low super quick and does like an Akuma style sweep, but then rolls over to like get back up. It all happens really quick.
Okay.
I gotta remember this.
Yeah.
And Eris like died laughing at it because he's like, he kind of spread the down 3 meme all by himself. Like, did you guys see that down 3?
I mean, there are definitely like there are moves that are just, you're not meant to break them down frame by frame, and I think what comes to mind is in Tekken, the Kazuya or the Jin like the windmill kick, right? Where the head is backwards. Yeah, it's like he breaks his neck to snap the roundhouse at you.
Some people got mad when I posted that tweet. They didn't get that was all a joke. Like, you're supposed to be in on the joke. That if you freeze frame a game, it always can look pretty bad.
People get pretty heated about this. It'd be like, how dare you make fun of our game about this? We're bringing up this topic again and stuff like that. Yeah, it gets pretty heated talking about this.
They're all taking me to animation school, even though I already went to animation school twice. I know all these things you're telling me. I'm just trying to post a funny joke on Twitter. It's not that deep. If you look at my page, you'll see that I'm never serious. But we're never going to achieve the heights of MKX Katana, where her foot just literally goes...
Oh, yeah.
Hit. Everything else changes. Her crouch pose is the same, just... It's going to be like the peak. That is peak down 3. Yeah.
I feel like...
down 3.
I feel like anytime there's a chance of this debate or getting the heat dying down, every time a Mortal Kombat gets discussed on the podcast that I do, Castle Super Beast, it is a absolute shit show of a conversation. So that is just pouring oil on the fire, and I'm sure even anyway, it's just there's no version of discussing MK that comes up in that context where it's not just going to be like how can we just grease the flames up a bit here, you know. And again, deservedly so in a lot of contexts. I mean, there's some wild shit, but anyway.
I understand it, like, because you brought up Abigail, Woolie. Once a year, I go back and watch the crowd reaction to Abigail because it gives me life. I love them going from so happy seeing the old school, like, you know, Final Fight, din, 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 they're like, oh, Final Fight character. Then they see Abigail and the mood immediately shifts to, oh, you actually hear moves in the background.
Oh, yeah. Crowd confusion noise. Mm-hmm.
And I think the top comment read like, oh my God, everyone, we're witnessing the birth of a meme. We're witnessing it in real time.
And little did they know,
also,
like, gameplay-wise, what was waiting for them is in addition to that weird-looking character, he was also going to just dominate and ruin everyone's day.
I do think
not
see him in
only
evil.
you hate how he looks, but you're going to see him all the time because he's top one. He's really good. Which is rare for a grappler and a big body character.
Yeah.
Typically, they're like ass.
So, I mean, when Luke showed up, he kind of learned his place. But, like, for a while there, it was just Abigail or nothing.
Yep. Oh, I forgot about Luke Fighter 6. Because he's so, like, either middle of the road or, like, barely top tier in 6, I think. So I'm like, I forgot about Luke Fighter 5. Where he's at every tournament.
He's definitely, like, one of the best in the game in 6. But, like, in 5, he was the god. He was just
He was
the
one.
end. He was the end of the game. The end of the franchise, you know? Like, it's like, all right. We're putting a exclamation mark at the end of this season, and that's it.
That was the wild part, is like you end the series by just making him convincingly the best character in the whole game, and now anyone who ever wants to go back and play Street Fighter V is just like, you better like fighting Luke because he's just the best. Anyone else still playing is probably going to be on Luke.
You either play Luke or you counter Luke.
I suspect that was kind of a like, hey, get excited for the new guy, for the new Street Fighter. Like, I think it was kind of a deliberate like, look how strong, right? In addition to wanting to sell the DLC. You're like, that's a move for sure.
But speaking of Luke, what a fantastic way to tie things together, because Luke is one of the only examples where a Street Fighter character had an animation so bad they completely removed it and changed it.
Luke?
You all know what it was?
Which one?
Luke had an animation. His forward jump was completely changed. And now it's only his neutral jump where he throws his hands straight down when he jumps up. Because he had that weird Crash Bandicoot jump when he first came out, where when you jumped forward, his arms swung down. It almost looked like he whiffed an air normal immediately. So when I watched combos, I thought he had weird double air normal ability or something. But he looks like he's jumping and whiffing Mika's like heavy punch in the air. Like he goes, whoa, when he jumps like that. And it was such a weird not only was it a bad looking animation, but it literally made you think that he whiffed an air normal. So if you're like me, you would dash in to occupy space so when he lands, you get a full punish because he's going to have landing frames, right? But you just eat a jump in because that wasn't actually him whiffing an air normal. That's just the start of his jump. He just punches for no reason when he jumps. Yeah, but they removed it. It's completely gone. Some people called it the Crash Bandicoot jump. Because it looks like straight out of Bandicoot. Like, what? Like legs went up, arms went down.
Here's a video. I just found it right here of all of his moves. He literally just jumps and like does the Crash Bandicoot pose. I thought it was a move too before you mentioned it. I'm like, oh wait, that's this. So you say that's his neutral jump?
That's just his forward jump. He just punches the ground. Like it looks really weird.
Oh yeah. He compresses together. Yeah.
Only his neutral jump. They actually had to get rid of it for the forward jump because they realized it was way too weird to tell what was happening. Like
that's hilarious.
No,
that was and it's kind of sad because that was my only response to the hate on Mortal Kombat. I was like, oh yeah. How about Luke's forward jump? Looks pretty bad.
Damn,
that's all I had.
You got him, bro. Like, cooked.
They fixed it. Shoot.
Arguments invalid. Your mom. That was pretty much how it felt to deliver that Luke's jump.
Uno reverse. I don't know. But yeah, that was Omni-Man, guys. To be fair, there really isn't
an hour
much
and a half discussing Omni-Man.
Yeah, I mean,
there really isn't much to talk about
it's
for him.
Yeah, a couple moves showed off, but I'm sure there's gonna be once you get a more in-depth look at like how the character is gonna play and what's going on with him, there'll be more to say.
We're getting another grappler, I guess. That's one thing to say. I'm happy with the references we're getting with his fatal blows and fatalities. That's about it.
His parry has me the most excited, I guess. Where like
That does look really cool, though.
Scorpion does the spear and he like dodges it, but you know it's actually a parry, not a dodge, right? And he instantly goes to where you are and grabs you and gets a little toss. With the right cameos, that's probably a full combo off of a full screen parry, which sounds cool.
Like it's like a counter state, right? Like he'll just go into it probably for a bit and then come out of it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess
with the ambush cameo, it probably will work.
I'm curious about his costumes.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Better
I'm
have
gonna,
the Viltrum one. I love the Viltrumite costume.
I'm gonna assume that's the mastery like level 18 skin that you get if you play him. What else could he wear? Like
normal
house
clothes.
dad. Yeah, house dad skin.
Oh yeah, like his little like button down collared shirt. Yeah. He has the disappointed dad at a baseball game skin. Is that flashback?
I don't think it's gonna be his cape, but I am really curious what his gear would be actually if it's not his cape. Mustache.
I really hope that one of his. I hope one of his. I hope one of his palettes for his default skin just comes already pre-bloodied, like just covered in tons of blood, and the name can be "What's 17 more years?"
Something like that.
It could be the name of the palette. Cool. I can always start again. Make another kid.
Yeah, and he, I guess, his line was, "I claim this timeline for the Viltrum Empire." And
in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess there's gonna be a like plot reason for him showing up besides just like a portal opened up and here he is, whatever.
Normally they have a little cute like what if story in the arcade mode endings, right? Whenever the guest characters show up, you're like, oh, this is why they're here and yada yada and stuff like that. I'm assuming that we're gonna do that again here.
If he got to be in story mode, it would have been so cool if they did the whole exact plot where he pretends to be the hero and joins the good guys, and then at some point looks at the villain and goes, "You don't understand. Earthrealm isn't yours to conquer." Exact same line. Like, I'm already grooming this planet to like Viltrum.
That would be quite cool. I'm a bit. Have we all seen Invincible? Just making sure.
At least season 1 of it, yeah.
Okay, then yeah, we're pretty much all caught up then. All right.
I mean, it would be.
I'm glad. Otherwise, I would have spoiled some shit. I'd feel really bad.
Well, the trailer itself is also like, if you haven't watched the show or if you've started but haven't finished the first season, the like everything you're seeing there is completely spoilers. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Right? So.
True.
I think I did see like Honeybee's reaction. He was just like, "Those are cool fatalities. I wonder why he like goes to a random train station though. That's kind of weird." Stuff, like, oh, sweet summer child.
It's funny, when I first saw that, I wanted to make a joke in my reaction being like, well, doesn't make sense because, you know, they're just regular humans that he's holding, so they would just break when the first human flies into him. But then I was like, no, they wouldn't, because they're Mortal Kombat humans. They
yeah,
take
exactly.
some real fucking punishment. So they actually would just be like, with the humans breaking on him.
So when he does the counter stance, like he dodges a spear, right? Like when that scorpion throws at him. So that, I guess that means that like if a spear, does a spear register as a projectile in the game? Like, because then it's
I
like,
was thinking too, yeah.
It's always iffy in each game.
Because like, will any fireball activate it? You know, besides just taking a hit, like, can he use it as an anti-zoning tool as well? Because that'd be incredible, right?
That's the $1 million question. Is it one of those parries where even if you're blocking in time after throwing the projectile, no, fuck you, you still get hit? Because Shang Tsung has that in MK11, his little smoke parry. Even if you have a fast recovering fireball, throw it instantly and then you're blocking, if he parries that, you're still, the whole game freezes and he falls and slams you. So,
that could be the way they're going to differentiate him and Homelander, because Homelander has heat vision, but Omni-Man doesn't. So you have a guy who can do some zoning stuff with his heat vision versus a guy who's all about shutting down zoning and doing grappling stuff.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So they kind of cool rivalry going on with the movesets.
Split Superman into 2 movesets, right?
Yeah. It
If
does
I
seem
was
like
the editor, and this won't happen, but if I had the power, I would do this. I'm not sure if y'all know, because like the comics aren't as popular as the show, and the show hasn't brought this up yet, I don't think, unless I missed it. But Homelander actually has a super scream ability too. Like his voice is amplified the same way that his strength and speed is. So there's parts of the comics where he just yells and someone's eardrums explode because he can do that. So how funny would it be if in his trailer for his gameplay, at one point he's fighting Sindel and she does her scream to stun him and he goes, ah, and screams back. And
that would be funny. That'd be awesome. That would be actually really awesome.
A little screaming match.
That's why Sindel doesn't have that many scream moves. It's all moved to Homelander.
He's gonna have an air scream move. He's gonna fly in and scream.
I actually think that the from the gameplay, the little bit we've seen, I think they will have a lot more focus on Omni-Man also being like super fast, because that might be another way they're differentiating Homelander with Omni-Man is he is very fast and like
Maybe.
And I guess like perhaps like an enhanced version of the counter like would lead to like further follow-up opportunity instead of just like the knockdown or something like that could be possible, you know, for the cost.
Could see that.
And they kind of already implied it with his intro, but I kind of hope he has a move that references the baseball scene with him and Mark, but he grabs the opponent and just throws you off screen, turns around and goes, whoop, and just catches you.
That'd be awesome as his grab. Yeah, that would be awesome as just his grab.
That's a good one. Okay, that's actual Omni-Man discussion then.
Woo! We did it. Something, I think we only talked about it for 10 or 15 minutes.
We normally never have any dead air, but I think everyone just respects Woolie so much. We're like, does he have anything to say?
No, go for it. But hey, look, like I said, like I have, for someone who has not played a ton of MK1, I'm just here trying to pose, so it's fine. But talk
Woolie,
over, go nuts.
Me and Snake are like nowhere near like any like. If we even played against you, you'd just probably 3-0 us easily. Like we are super casual in this place too.
No, you don't understand. I tried and I kind of like in absence of a Kodal, like I'm like, okay, let me try to learn a little bit of Geras, and I do not have anything resembling a character, you know, functional in this game. So like, please.
I see.
Character crisis.
Geras is a good pick though, because Geras has an alternate costume where he's got very dark skin, very dark. He's got the glowy eyes. He's bald. He's a bit of a grappler, really buff. He's got no shoes. He's basically just Rage. He's just Rage.
I'm like, where are you going with this? Yeah, he's got dark skin.
Oh God!
And you would like him, really? Why would I?
You know what? Yeah, I probably should have said anything now you mentioned it.
Yeah, put that up front, baby. Yeah. Okay, we got there. God damn it!
Yeah, you gotta laugh.
Rage, my stupid brother's fucking. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, no, I just messing around a bit though. I'm kind of like, I feel like it felt like he's been toned down a significant amount, you know, because I'm not too sure if Geras competitively is like another beast entirely. Like I just don't know. I haven't seen it yet, you know. How does he stack?
Doc can answer that. Yeah, Doc can answer that.
He's considered actually pretty good. The problem is he's got layers to his gameplay, and you know how most pros are. They don't want the layers. They just want good character. So why would I play Geras who can do this, but Baraka does it also in his sleep? Whereas Geras has to stack 3 hourglasses and spin bar. Yeah, he's got some cool shit that I don't even care to practice because it's too hard to me. He has one move where he it costs 2 bars, I think, and he will freeze time and a little clock spins behind him.
The time freeze.
And then a clone comes up. Well, his clone comes out though, like a shadow clone of him made of sand. And the way it works is whatever buttons you input during that little time freeze, it does when it comes out. So you can time it to combo with you with unique stuff. And it probably looks really cool. It's probably some hype combo video out there. I don't play him that way. I play him way more straightforward, and he still gets like 42% damage off every combo. And thankfully, It's not like Jury in Street Fighter where you're forced to end your combo early and then do a little foo-ha thing. He does that too with the hourglass, but he has an ender where he summons the hourglass and slams the opponent into it as a combo ender, and that counts as an hourglass summon.
Oh, that counts.
So you can
as
build
one.
the hourglass while comboing. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, interesting. Yeah, the
Geras
has a
No,
The sand
Geras is like
summon.
one of the hardest characters in the game, plus like maybe Kenshi, but like because of that, like watching him is really fun. Like his tech, like how he sets up the hourglasses, how he sets up like what he does during time stop and whatnot. I forgot who plays it, but it's like time stop, combo, cameo, like Cyrex shows up to net him. Okay, hourglass, setting up things and stuff.
I didn't think about it. Why is Cyrax the best partner for everybody? NetherRealm, I know that you get memed on for doing like month 1 patches or week 1 hot fixes and you just patch the game too much. I know it's a meme, but we gotta stop Cyrax. This man is at every partner for every tournament character. Like it's just his new timeline. He lets Liu Kang pretend he did it, but actually Cyrax made the new timeline, and that's why he's the best character in the game. We gotta stop him.
Too much spinning.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Not sure if
Geras
Woolie knows, but
Geras is pretty good, but he takes work, is what I'm getting. Okay.
and you can play him more straightforward like I do, and then he's still not really that difficult. It's like you can just wait till you have a bar, get a cool whiff punish, freeze time, do a combo, then end with the hourglass attack string that like counts, and then you have one. And then what I also do after that is I'll do his meter burn sandstorm, where ironically he doesn't summon the sandstorm right away. He summons a little hourglass over the opponent's head, and it ticks down. And when it's empty, it explodes. That also counts as an hourglass. So now you have 2 already.
Really?
So now one more combo, and you have 3. Yeah.
Okay, so
There you
those
go.
things build up the 3 hourglasses. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's way easier than just having to stop everything you're doing, like what Jiri did in Street Fighter V at first, and just like, do a little leg thing.
Or like Jamie drinks, really. It's I'd say closer to Jamie,
yeah.
right?
Although
Yeah.
Jamie drinks is like once you're done, you're done. Geras is like your whole game plan is just to hourglass.
And then once you have all 3 hourglasses, you have the Infinity Stone snap
Yeah, the
reference,
snap.
where like time freezes instantly, and you go right behind them. Which
Isn't
kept
that
messing me up.
Isn't that move called like it's inevitable or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Literally
it's
just
got
called
an
that.
Avengers reference. Just making it more obvious that whoever writes at NetherRealm Studios is legit just copying what's the in thing at the moment. Like, what's big right now? Avengers? Put it in. Put it in. Make a Thanos reference. He even snaps his finger for the intro victory, for God's sake, or the outro victory.
The victory animation. Yeah.
Yeah. Very clearly. Did you know that Geras is Thanos? Were you aware of that meme? I don't know why. I guess because they're both bald and have a deep voice. Otherwise, I don't see the similarities at all. But you know,
Does he still have the big gold fist like he had last
only
time?
during his fatal blow. Only during his fatal blow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That was one of his things in MK11, the gigantic.
I don't
fist.
remember seeing the fist. Yeah, big fist. Yeah.
And what's also kind of a cheeky reference, a lot of his stuff is a reference to MK11, which is cool because it makes sense, but also kind of adorable because he's only been in 1 game and they're already trying to be like, remember this move? He's got it, but it's just a bit different. Is it nostalgic? So, for example, one of his crushing blows in MK11 is to actually land his attack string in the corner where he grabs the opponent and throws them out of the corner. So you're giving up the corner, but you get a crushing blow that adds like 10% into your combo. So it could be worth it. They brought that back in a weird way where if you land his command grab in the corner where he throws them out of the corner, he gets a new animation to it and it does more damage.
A ton more damage. Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that like he summons a wall there or something?
Yeah, he
like
kicks
slams
the
you
wall.
into- yeah.
Exactly. So you
Those
give up
those,
you give up
those
the corner.
grabs look. Those grab looks really good, like those animations.
My favorite is his back throw because all he does is just clone himself out of nowhere. And it's like, bet you didn't know I could do that. I can. Just holding back the entire fight.
I mean, it's the coolest fatality as well, where like the time,
Oh, yeah.
like hands you your own head. Like that's to me the coolest one of the entire game. Like,
The plot twist, same, literally the best fatality in the game.
Shout outs to Reptile for letting us all do our fatality reactions and not get demonetized.
Letting you do it. I put effort in editing and censoring it, okay?
Yeah, how'd that go?
God.
It's fine. Although for some reason the video I watched killed Nitara a lot, so You have that.
Yeah.
So
you
I have a
guys-
question. Why?
You guys are out here like fighting these YouTube battles. You're Mortal Kombat. Like, damn, that is a struggle. That sucks.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! I just realized that must really, really be like half your day sometimes, just figuring out what's going on with the censorship. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Boy,
It got a lot
okay.
easier, thankfully, in MK1 because we no longer have crushing blows to scan through the whole video. Make sure I didn't miss one. It's just the fatal blows now.
Okay.
But
okay.
I had something that I was gonna add. Oh yeah, YouTube. Look here, YouTube. Why is it that every single GameSpot video featuring Mortal Kombat is not demonetized or age restricted? That's a privilege even NetherRealm doesn't have. If they post on their main Mortal Kombat 1 channel, they still get age restricted or demonetized on their video.
Do they
you
show
can't
like the
watch without signing in.
fatalities or?
It's the exact same videos every single time, but GameSpot gets off scot-free. I know because on my main computer, yeah.
Well, Underdog,
that's
that
interesting.
would probably be because you haven't paid your protection money this month. So
yes.
if you go drop off a brown paper bag in a location on time, then perhaps you can do what you want to do too, you know?
That's way easier than meeting at a specific location in a bathroom with an oddly placed hole in the stall. I'll take the brown bag over that one.
Don't need to see the X-ray of that.
That's a good one.
Everyone gets to use their imagination.
I was gonna say a very funny segue. Speaking of imaginations, MK versus DC, but that doesn't make any sense. I'm speaking of MK versus DC.
Right.
Have you guys heard about the recent news?
Fill me in. I have not.
So, have you heard about the animated Mortal Kombat movies that have been coming out recently? The Legend series.
Oh, okay. So I think so because I feel like when I was going to watch I rented the new movie off YouTube, and there were like trailers and ads for like the new animation series as well alongside that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And currently there is like 4 of them that are coming out. Actually, the newest one comes out on the 17th. And the funny thing about these new movies is they always get leaked like weeks before like the actual release date. So the one that came out last year was leaked like 3-4 weeks before the initial release date. This time it was a lot better. It just got leaked a week early. So if you don't want to get spoiled, be careful on Twitter about the most recent movie, and I unfortunately have. However, the team that has been making these animated movies pitched the idea of Mortal Kombat versus DC, and for some reason they decided to announce that they did this, and it was rejected. That's the news that we have about this situation currently, and Dog is very sad.
We could
Very
have
sad
had
dog.
animated Batman versus Scorpion. That would be dope, fighting in the Batcave, like in the game, but in the game it's goofy because, like, you know, it's game logic where you fight and then suddenly one of them's unconscious. I want to see how specifically Batman defeats Scorpion. I want to see it.
I have a question. I thought it was going to be a completely new story. I didn't think they were going to adapt
That's fine,
MK
too.
versus DC.
Well, I mean, far be it for me to assume that, but even if they didn't, like, we'd still definitely get the 2 poster guys fighting, right? They're not going to let a movie go by without the 2 main characters fighting. Like, Scorpion and Batman gotta fight.
For sure.
Maybe, yeah.
I kind of assumed, maybe I'm wrong, but I assumed that like Injustice and Mortal Kombat alternating on the roster, each game comes out and all switches back and forth. I assumed that NetherRealm had an interest in building back up the possibility of doing this crossover game, and that when they eventually did, they would just pretend the first one never happened and completely just delete it from the timeline's existence. If not having just like the opening be a copy of that game being wiped from Liu Kang's finger snap, from everyone's memory, and then here we go for the first time ever. It's all your DC heroes versus the Mortal Kombat characters, Like, I kind of thought a build-up was going in that direction, but who knows?
Yeah. I'm just thinking like I thought what you were gonna mention is like because in every Injustice game a Mortal Kombat character is a guest in that, and so are they ever gonna? Oh wait, they did. Yeah, they did. In MK11, Joker actually did make it into Mortal Kombat. Okay,
Yeah.
I answered my own question. Yes,
So-
a DC character did make it into Mortal Kombat that way.
Right. So you kind of like tease that and stuff, and it's like Akuma made it into Tekken, right? And then Street Fighter Cross Tekken occurred before that, so Tekken Cross Street Fighter still hasn't happened. And I mean, anyway, that's a whole other thing with the timeline.
There's the tease. Yeah.
Whatever.
I want it too, Woolie. I want it more than anything. I love Tekken so much.
It's just,
I want my.
but it's like, when are you going to release that and not cut into the sales of either other franchise, right? Like, it's a difficult thing to time. But I think with NetherRealm being the one studio behind both of those games, you can definitely be like, all right, 1 year or one like cycle when the next logical thing would be the next MK or the next Injustice, you can just go like, how about we do it, bring it together and again, pretend the first one never happened, and then we can just move forward into this timeline now. And then have the MK characters have a block button, but have the Injustice characters hold back to block.
That'd be really cool. They'd never go that far. That'd be awesome, though, if they actually had a big universal difference like that. It'd be awesome. And this time, instead of...
it would be unbalanced. They would probably fall apart. Like, it would be really rough to have, again, things like Scorpion's like side switch, and port and stuff with a block button versus non-block button. I don't know if you could make that work together. Having characters that like can run versus can dash in any fighting game already make it so like the running characters always win, So.
Yep. But that's how it used to be, though, Woolie. We now live in an era where they can't make fun decisions like that because fighting games are just accepted that they have to be well balanced. But back in the day, when we were playing those old games, they're busted as fuck.
Okay, fuck balance. I got you.
SNK versus Street Fighter versus wait, was it Street Fighter versus SNK? I think, or Street Fighter versus KOF. Whichever one that was.
Capcom versus
it was
SNK,
SNK, right?
perhaps. Capcom versus SNK. Probably.
Yeah, where like they had the different grooves and stuff and all that,
CVS.
and some characters were busted and some were terrible. Like that's just how it turns out sometimes. Like,
Definitely.
that's how it is.
but I'm like moves that are meant to like hit you from left or right or up or down and stuff, that in a game where you have the side switching can. Well, I guess Marvel kind of has you reacting in that way too. Maybe if there's a way to make up for it, right? Maybe if there's a way for like if you are, maybe you don't get, you get a block button, but like you mix with things like maybe projectiles will clash for certain characters that don't have that, or maybe there's well, hold on, in Injustice 2, in Injustice as well, is it similar where like if you crouch under a projectile but don't block, it'll travel past you? Is there anything like?
Thankfully, it's easier in Injustice because, unbeknownst to me, I didn't learn this until like a month after playing the first Injustice game. But if you hold down, just straight down, you are blocking by default. You just can't block overheads in that way.
Okay.
So it covers both sides, and it also covers like the projectile problem. Like you're not forced to hold down back where you block it. Holding straight down will either duck it or block it, and it deals with like cross ups and stuff from like teleports.
Okay.
The issue is, just to be a dick, in Injustice 2, they didn't learn their lesson, and Supergirl's teleport, when she spins meter on it, and it's still just as fast, is a side-switching overhead teleport.
Yeah. Awesome.
They're punishing you for using the in-game mechanic of being able to block both sides by holding down, and you get blown up for it. It's like, but why?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
so
you can't expect the NetherRealm players to get good, Woolie. You can't expect them to suddenly have the reactions of Marvel players. If they had to deal with Wesker's gunshot and teleporting behind it, and then followed by assist bullshit, they'd turn the game off. You can't do it.
Hey man, you guys have an up block mechanic, right? Doesn't that take precise timing to?
Nobody cares about that.
I was gonna say, are y'all up blocking out there or not? What are we doing? Who's up blocking? No? What?
Sonic Fox? Probably.
I have blocked the jump ins, and that's it, because it legit takes away your jump in. It makes the opponent have to start empty jumping, which becomes a really interesting meta of like, are they gonna jump and attack or just not? Because like otherwise I'm stuck up blocking, and there's a little animation for it when you do up block. You can't exit block immediately. So I'm like, damn. they could legit force me to eat a throw on landing or something because I'm just stuck there blocking. So there's a bit of a meta there, but you're right.
Yeah,
Flawless block was pretty cool. That had layers to it in MK11, but even then, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't.
So, like, talking to the MK scene here in Montreal, Hayate and Jer and those guys are like kind of describing that, like, yeah, jump-ins were so good that like up block was an answer that was kind of needed in a way, you know, like it answered a problem that was unaddressed in 11, right?
Mm-hmm. Unless they have Cyrax, in which case it doesn't matter because they can do a jump in, call Cyrax, and now you can't punish anyway.
So there was a plan, or there was a proposal that there would be a crossover movie. Is that what?
Yes, that was the news essentially. I think ultimately, like, the biggest hurdle that still has to be crossed is just like how violent Mortal Kombat is. It's just like, oh, I don't want Superman to get like gut up like that, or I don't want like Batman to get like completely shredded up by Kung Lao and what stuff. I think that's the hurdle that always has to be crossed whenever these topics are always brought up.
They're clearly willing to do it, though, right? I think it's more like having their heroes doing that to other people was an issue back then, so they'd go for the heroic brutalities instead. You know?
Yeah. Which was, I kind of appreciate that now. It's like, it's a very clever way of letting superheroes do fatalities, and it's kind of cute.
That's a good point too, Woolie, because like a lot of the animated DC films coming out are butchering the heroes anyway. Like the Justice League Dark movies, at the very start, like everyone's getting torn apart by like Darkseid's monsters.
Oh yeah, that was very violent
or whatever.
True.
The Batgirl one, I love Batgirl, but her death was so funny. But yeah, so they're not above putting that in. They would do fatalities.
They're clearly down. Yeah.
Funny enough, though, the people who are making the animated Mortal Kombat movies made the animated Injustice Gods Among Us movie, which is R-rated. And it's not that R-rated in my opinion, but it's R-rated. So
that's why the best case scenario would have been that the new MK versus DC movie actually does take place in the Injustice universe. Like that's the realms that get merged.
Oh.
And then also, let's go with the MK11 version of the Mortal Kombat characters too, just because that'd be like show that everyone's grown and changed since the original. So it's no longer crazy Psycho Scorpion. It's like Hanzo, who's conquered the Hellfire and stuff, and is teamed up with Sub-Zero against one of the DC villains. That'd be fucking sick. Like I'd love to watch that.
Yeah,
and then Chronica fuses with Darkseid and becomes Dark.
Dark Chronic.
Chronodide.
Cronside.
Cronside. That sounds.
Cronside. Yeah.
Of course.
No,
Chronica is back again. Oh no.
Unfortunately, a lot of the time, whenever you hear an announcement like this, it's usually because there's no chance of the thing happening, right? Like the last thing you want to do is like have this leak just kind of come out there when there's still a potential for it to occur. So like, it's almost like in some cases the last bastion is to be like, hey, public, wouldn't this have been cool? And then hope that everybody's like, yeah, you should still do it, you know? So I'm used to hearing things like this when it's like, oh, it's in the ground dead. It's not, you know, it's not going to be a thing.
I'll never get to see my dream come true of Green Lantern doing his heroic brutality on Cobra. He puts him in like a little green ball and then just shrinks it. But because they're not scared of gore anymore, it's like a little blood spurt inside. You're like, oh, crushed him. Got him. Poor Cobra.
Another semi-tragic news, I believe, is like there was a rumor that came out that's talking about the next Mortal Kombat movie being called Mortal Kombat Legends: Fall of Adinia. And it's going to be talking about like, what happened in like Katana's homeworld, and like Jared, Sindel, Tanya, Jade, Rain, and Melina may appear in this thing. And literally the writer of the film came on Twitter and be like, I don't know about this. So, I was like, I don't know about this leak. As far as I know, this is not true. But then again, I don't know much. That's what the writer said. So that cool. Another really cool idea, but like we'll see.
It would be especially cool if it was like a lady-centered story. Like it follows just the ladies mostly, like Sindel and Katana and Melina. Because we've proven with Mortal Kombat 1 that Melina can actually be a character. So, you know, she can have a personality too, and plot points and development.
Yeah.
I kind of...
The Legends stuff is still old timeline though, right?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I don't know.
I can give a very simple explanation.
Is-
The first two movies are based off of MK1 and MK2. It's like the story of MK1 and MK2, however, like some changes, some differences and that kind of stuff. But it is essentially the story of MK1 and MK2.
Okay.
And then the third and fourth movie is like, okay, here are Mortal Kombat characters, and here is a setting that completely like is nothing involved with the games or whatnot. The third movie is like the main character is Kenshi, and he's in a post-apocalyptic wasteland with Kano ruling everything, and he needs to find like Sub-Zero for help and stuff. It's like that's a big change and whatnot. Yeah.
I guess the easier question is just so Fire God Liu Kang does not exist in any of those movies.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Right.
So you don't need to follow like any other of the previous canons. It's its own like universe in a way.
Okay.
Am I wrong for wanting an animated short film of just Mortal Kombat characters doing their day-to-day? Just like good old character development?
No.
Like maybe
that's
just like
the best.
Katana and Jade doing a regular day in Adenia, just walking around, exploring, talking about stuff. Maybe some boring politics,
I mean,
Star Wars style.
So unironically, I think the tea ceremony is the best thing in the entire franchise. I thought that was the coolest shit ever. I'm one of those people. I love that. I think those are character building moments. I think that establishes a lot. That does wonders for, humanizing and having your characters relate to each other and seeing the relationship. And it was great. I'm like, that was such an unexpected, cool thing. I love that. And more of that is always a plus, for sure.
Yeah. That's actually one thing I do appreciate a lot in Mortal Kombat 1's, like, story. And also, like, you get a lot of that in the intro dialogues, too. Characters who just, like, fight up and be like, yo, I can go treat you to this restaurant, like, and stuff like that. Oh, that sounds really cool. I'll do shit, and like they fight in intro dialogue and whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot of that, just like some chill chatting around, world building stuff in like the new story mode, and I think that those are like pretty nice things. I think people, the fighting game developers are starting to realize that like how much people actually really love their characters. They're not just tools of fighting. They are like a character to like and enjoy and stuff. Yes, they're not functions. And like you said, Street Fighter 6 is a dating sim. It's like, oh, I love this character. I'm gonna max out everything I can with this character and know what they do and yada yada and stuff. I think they are getting like knowing like what the fans like want with the characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's how
what
you
you're
sell.
saying, Sonic.
Go ahead.
No, you go for it. You're on a roll.
It's how you sell fighting games to people. It's character driven, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then setting and then plot come kind of after that stuff. Like everyone is just like it's one of the most like cut and dry like genres where the characters are everything, and the lore of the character can do wonders for just like appeal. Like people who are not interested in a franchise will like show up to be like, wait, who's got what's going on over here? I mean, you can by just handling the a character's like introduction or presentation or all of that stuff the right way, it can do wonders.
Yeah. So, sometimes just like one character can just make you want to play that game and be like, oh, that's Aki looks like freaking sick.
Bridget and Guilty Gear, right? Like it's like that's a perfect example. Like blew up that game. So you were gonna say Underdog.
Oh no, I bought Mortal Kombat 1 just for Reptile, so there's that.
And I totally didn't get Samurai Showdown for Darly Dagger. I definitely didn't get that game.
Right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So it's absolutely possible, but no, Sonic was bringing up that people finally realize, like these studio producers and writers finally understand the potential of these characters. I was going to joke. So you're saying that it's possible we could finally get MK Ultra Girls, the animated series.
I just found out about that recently too. Actually, that's cool.
Does Woolie know? He had a little
face reaction. Does that
reaction.
sound exactly what it sounds like? Is that exactly what the name implies?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's
There's
not
even,
MK
like-
Ultra, but it's girls in a high school, and like
Yeah.
they're the Mortal Kombat characters, and like Kano is like the track coach or like the gym coach,
Oh my
and I
God.
think Sindel's one of the teachers or something, and everyone else who's like regular age is de-age down to be like a kid, right?
Little baby
And they're in a high
chibi
school.
kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except Sonya. I think she's still the same because I think Cassie's one of the main characters.
Oh yeah, the
Oh, there
combat
you go,
kids
then.
are the students too.
Yeah, Jackie's in there. Jackie's in there.
Important question.
Frost is one of the students too.
Are they in Japanese high school or American high school?
Don't know. I'm assuming it's American because
Yeah.
like
She's American.
Because like like the Sailor Fuku and like Shinji Ikari style student uniform are like the expected tropey things here, but Mortal Kombat is Western, and it would make more sense for it to be like the Dawson's Creek vibes, you know?
Well, to give you a hint, Woolie, there were leaked images of like episodes, and it looks like an Invader Zim kind of art style.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's what they were going for.
Okay.
Seems
Which
like
okay.
I was kind of hyped
Screenshots.
for. I was kind of ready. People see it and go,
Interesting.
"Oh, it looks like crap," and I'm like, "No, it's got a style to it. Like I'm totally down for this."
So, but then I guess are these high school kids killing each other? Like,
The thing is, this show is PG. It's apparently like made for kids and stuff. I think the premise of the show is also kind of interesting because like the plot is essentially like Fire God Liu Kang is thinking of like restarting the universe. However, like the world is divided by two, being like I don't want to restart the universe and I kind of hate life here. I want to restart the universe, and so they have to like fight each other to decide which one is going to win. Like that's the premise apparently of the show.
okay.
See if I can get some.
Well, I mean, we all
adorable
know how that
screenshots
went,
here.
right? So,
But there's a chance. You're telling me there's a chance because they finally understand the potential of these characters.
Oh yeah, you sent the screenshots right there, basically.
it is so wild to make like a PG thing that is of a franchise.
Here's a little Frost
Wow,
here.
look at that. Okay, look at that. Yeah, it's like the whole the violence is basically the main thing that MK is like selling, and it's odd to think that they would find a way around it and go for this. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Very
I
interesting.
want to see it. I don't care if it was canceled. I want to see what little they had. I want to watch these clips.
Yeah. MK has been blowing up a lot recently, just like all the stuff that they've been making, like movies and like mobile games and whatnot. So like,
It is the number one most popular fighting game. Like that's
Yep.
it's blowing up, but it's been
Yep.
blown up. Like that thing. Yeah, you can't catch those numbers. Like it's crazy. No matter how hard.
Unless you count
try.
Smash, but I don't.
count what?
Unless you count Smash Bros, which I don't.
Oh, I mean, technically speaking,
It is a fighting
technically
game. No, it
speaking.
definitely is. I'm just teasing. But I guess what I should say is it's not fair. to
Multiverses,
compete with
then.
Smash Bros. Multiverses. Yeah, that's a good
Isn't
one.
that
too.
when it just came out, it was like one of the highest player bases or something like that.
Yeah,
or whatnot?
it had a
Yeah,
humongous because it's free to play, right? Huge appeal of the
Yeah.
roster, but also free to play is massive. Broke kids and with no credit cards, playing with each other is a humongous audience.
Can't
man.
pay that
Like,
Can't pay that $70 for MK1. Shame.
yeah, more if you're getting your packs,
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Can't blame them.
Season passes, costumes. That's what League of Legends has been doing for years. They just add new costumes. That's pretty much it, and they rebalance every now and then.
That's right. The Deadly Alliance Scorpion skin is like $10 basically.
Jesus,
Didn't know that. Got it
Right?
for
Isn't that how
free.
much? You
Well,
got it
it's
for
not
free?
as bad as a Texas. Well, because I had the crystals already.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You have the in-game crystals you can use.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I ain't paying for that. Well, I guess I
It's not
could
as
pay
bad-
for it. My copy was free, so I could pay for stuff.
It's not as bad as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Street Fighter. though,
Oh
I will say.
my
At least these are
God.
skins for
Oh
characters,
my
not
God.
customization.
Jesus, those things. Yeah, and I say that like, look, I mean, I saw that and I saw those prices. Like, what are we doing? And hey, look, shout outs. Capcom was like, hey, do you want some tickets here to promotional tickets? I'm like, yeah,
Oh, that's
sure,
nice.
I'll take those, but Not the best way to like leave a good impression with people. Just with the prices of these cosmetics, man. Especially when it's like each turtle individually too. You know. Like,
Yeah.
I
$15.
There's rumors that it's like, oh, it's the licensing cost for like working with, a brand that is going to take a cut of it. And there's that happens sometimes as well, because I'm thinking there's this franchise called Super Robot Wars where, to work with like all these multiple companies and get their cameos in there, like, and you want to get their music, they're going to take a cut, and you can be charged a premium, expensive ass game, But it's still just at the end of the day is like, that's not fun for people to be like, you're looking, it's cosmetic. It's not affecting balance. It's not like you have to worry about that side of it, but it's still just like, it's celebration. If you can afford it, good luck.
Yeah. And it's for your custom character. So you'll only be able to use it in the world tour or your custom character fighting and stuff, which most people now are just like, I think they're saying like, oh, that's cool. You get more parts or customization. Can we get a jury skin like that? I think that's what we kind of want more and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like, look, Street Fighter V had a pretty. They introduced obviously like fight money, right? Where it's like you can play and spend the in-game cash on characters, stages, cosmetics, whatever's coming out, and that's a friendly system that I think they introduced that should not go away. Like you should continue to have that type of thing. And they do have, they have the tickets here. They have like the ways to build that up, but it would be nice to like have all fighting games kind of like have that quality of life where like, hey, you can play this and if you play enough, you can build it up. And like, obviously it's their interest to kind of make you spend money on it. But if there was a way to like, maybe be like, hey, you can get a discount if you spend some of your tickets, right? Or if you spend some of your fight money. So maybe the cost of this thing is a little bit less if you're willing to go half or half with your tickets, and just throw a bone to the player a little bit there,
Yeah. And I know it's kind of a loaded name now, but I really appreciated what Overwatch did with DLC, because I know loot boxes are terrible, but as a result of people buying loot boxes, all the DLC maps were free. I think the characters were too. They just got added in because they used the money from
all the characters, all the maps free.
Yeah. Because all the money from loot boxes just covered it. Like it was 100% like the problem is most
Blizzard,
companies don't do
right?
that.
Yeah, like Blizzard is gigantic. Like they can take the hit. It's not going to be a big deal off their shoulders.
It was free, and now in Overwatch 2, new hero comes out. Battle Pass.
What game?
If you want to play the hero.
It doesn't exist. Do you mean Overwatch 1.5?
1.1.1?
Must have been a weird timeline that we're living in.
Like less on your team and no more offline content.
Oh, so 0.9. You mean 0.9. Are we going down actually?
Actually,
we're going down.
Yeah.
Evolving, just backward.
Yeah.
Yes. Every character got a redesign that looked worse. Yep.
I loved that.
No, it's the microtransactions, aka mini buys, as I like to call them. The mini buy economy is here to stay, and I get it. It sucks, but the prospect is too lucrative for anyone to ever deny it, and it also adds a tail end to the game that, if the average person buys a fighting game and then stops playing it after 2 months, the people who don't represent the ability for that game to continue making revenue over time. So they have these little things to kind of like bring you back into bring the game back into the news cycle and like introduce a new character, new stage, whatever. But I did like when, for example, Street Fighter V had community packs where it was like, okay, here's a costume set for some characters, and here's a stage that is also going to fund the prize pool for the Capcom Cup this year.
Oh, that's cool.
So by buying this and supporting this part of the game, it's also going directly into the tournament scene and like giving a full circle of like, hey, go play competitively, lean into the community supports the community, yada yada. And like, yeah, they would do that regularly, and like, you get content out of it while like supporting a thing that you're like a scene that you're actively interested in, So I feel like that's a healthy way to go about it.
Yeah, that actually is a really cool way.
Mortal Kombat tried that like twice.
Okay.
There were 2 costumes you could buy that funded the tournament, but they didn't do it as often as Street Fighter at all, which was a shame. And what's also a shame is that it's not enough in the modern day for these games to pay for themselves. They have to overperform and then some. Otherwise, like WB is not going to make the next one, right? Like for example, BioShock Infinite was a success. It made a lot of money. It just didn't overperform as much as they wanted it. So goodbye BioShock. Like poof, it's done. Because even now, I was brainstorming in my head, like, if you play the game and unlock currency that you can use to buy stuff, it seems like the company would lose money because you have an option to get the stuff without buying. But an easy way to offset that, since they're already playing the game anyway, would be to have like a little advertisement in the top left corner. Not intrusive, but like you have ad space, you can sell a part of the screen. And sure enough, I just realized that Street Fighter V did that with Red Bull. They had the whole like ad
Yeah, they did have
in
the
between
ads
the,
and then the promotional costumes and things like that. I think so. Okay,
Interesting.
so that I'm okay with that if the game is free to play. But if I paid $70,
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to see ads. Like, I gave you money, a lot of it. Also, I'm in Canada, so the Canadian conversion on that is even more, mind you.
Oh,
You know, throw $10 on everything for our prices, essentially. But
wow.
yeah, the idea of like being advertised to after buying a full price thing, like I hate that. But if it's free to play and you're monetizing, I get it. That's fine. You know.
And that was
Yeah,
going to be the final part of my statement too, was that if it went to the right thing, like just went back into the game or into the community, that'd be awesome. But you know that the overlords are not going to let that happen. Any extra money the game makes goes like straight to them, not back into the game, you know?
yeah,
So not only are you having to see an ad on your screen, but now there's 5 ads on your screen and your characters are wearing like the stickers of the sponsors and all that. But none of this money is going into Mortal Kombat 2. It's all going straight to WB from the shareholders, you know what I mean? So that's the final That's the final boss. I think you once called it like Producer Sama.
Producer Sama.
Yeah.
Final boss.
I mean,
No one
on
defeats
the
it.
one hand, though, like I could like okay, whatever. I mean, I could find a way to like design a racer style jacket with a bunch of logos on it that your character could wear. You know, with like here's a Pepsi logo and here's a Pennzoil. You know, like whatever. You can create these sort of like essentially like sponsor aesthetic things. But yeah, that's exactly it. It's like if you're gonna do like shit like that, just it's easier to stomach when you know that it's to support the tournament scene or that it's to support the community or in some way, shape, or form, and not just to line the coffers. You know.
Mm-hmm. My favorite example was in MK11 because Warner Brothers owns Harry Potter also, at least in game form and movie form. When in Mortal Kombat 11, you could turn on the game and see an advertisement in the top for the Harry Potter game. What was it called? Like Hogwarts Legacy or
Hogwarts
something?
Legacy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw an actual ad for Hogwarts in a Mortal Kombat game, and I was just laughing at how this is the world I live in. This is the Weasel timeline. Like, my Mortal Kombat game has an ad for Hogwarts Legacy.
You know about the Weasel timeline too?
Yes. Yes.
Very cool.
What should I ask? I don't know.
Oh, should we go down? You know what?
Okay.
Maybe another
All right.
time. We'll talk
Not
about it
that
after the
complex.
podcast.
It's just the
Okay,
idea that the
all right.
Weasel collider, and now we're in that world. Like, he fucked it up, and now we're in a different timeline, and it coincides with a lot of fucked up shit happening in recent
Okay.
memory.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
it's the Weasel timeline.
It's
So-
from the Facebook group apparently too.
Okay. So no J.K. Rowling DLC showing up in the game anytime soon then.
Damn it. She'd rewrite every character's OP abilities.
I legit want to buy that game just to walk around Hogwarts because I'm that big of a nerd. Like, I just want to make it VR. Make it VR so I can just walk around in first person and be like, yes, I am a student at Hogwarts.
Did you
I
know?
am a Hufflepuff.
Did you know that Shang Tsung doesn't use the bathroom? He actually just poops and pees himself where he stands and then wizards it away.
Yep, wizards it away. Gets rid of the evidence. That's my favorite example. It's J.K. Rowling is the literature equivalent of George Lucas, just not leaving his old films alone and keeps adding shit in.
No one
She's doing
asked.
that, but in literature form.
Literally the definition of no one asked. God damn it. Anyway.
The only thing cool about that lore, and it's still horrible, but the only thing cool about that is it shows that the Muggle technology was still adopted by the wizards. So at the very least, they're not that's second-class citizens. They are the engineers and inventors still of the world, whereas the wizards are, wizards. They use magic and stuff, but they still are not above using toilets because it's very handy and helpful.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, God, and I'm thinking like
Sit on the floor.
I also feel like I recently was reminded that Venom from Spider-Man also does not use the bathroom because Venom, the symbiote suit, just takes care of Eddie Brock's needs. Yep.
Was that actually canon?
Yeah.
Back when I was a teacher, Woolie, one of my students
Wow.
brought that up. Not that. He brought up the jerk off thing, which they're
What?
running with that one. That's just implied. That's
like
that's not
Halo,
even
like
implied.
Master
That's,
Chief. Yep. Takes
Yeah.
care of his needs.
like takes care of him. Yeah, well, because basically if someone asked, like, it was one of those fun little, you can write a question to the author and they'll answer it at the end of the comic as a joke, right? And one of the questions was, what happens if Eddie Brock gets a boner in the Venom suit? Because it's like skin tight. Like what happens? And the author just said, the symbiote takes care of it. Which could mean any number of things, but the
What a
internet
broad
being the internet.
statement. What a broad
Yeah.
statement.
The internet took that to mean that it jerks off Eddie Brock, which now means that they actually have an intense emotional relationship, or whatever that quote is from Jake. An intense personal relationship,
They kind of did in the second movie too, in my opinion.
which is even creepier when you realize that in some of the later comics, Eddie Brock does refer to the Venom suit as my love or stuff like that. So,
Okay.
Sure. I mean, I remember there's a comic, there was a Spider-Man run where the symbiote suit was pregnant and it was trying to find Peter to get his adrenaline because like he had the best adrenaline to support it giving birth. Right. So, I mean, like that all checks out to me.
That's weird. They just like, there was no like pregnant.
It was pregnant. It was actually a pretty good run because it was basically just like, it was just like, yo, Peter, look, I know we had our problems. It sucked. Just let me use you for a bit because I need some of that adrenaline and I just want to have my babies and then I'll be out of your life forever. I know you don't have to call me again, lose the number. And Pete's like, get the fuck away from me. New number, new phone, who this? And like
he's like, I've told you this before. You're gonna not leave.
And it chases him down and it gets to a point where it's just like it basically the equivalent of its water breaks. And it's like, please, it's like begging him, and he's just like, no, get away, and like it freaks out, and it was pretty cool, Yeah. But yeah, anyways,
interesting.
I kind of miss back when, ever since the movie, it's like now established that the Venom suit can talk, and it actually does speak to you like telepathically or whatever, and I hate that because I loved the possible theory that Eddie Brock's just insane and thinks this actual literal parasite living on him is his friend and is talking to him like, oh, thank you for saving my life back there. You take care of my shit for me, apparently, and you also you jerk me off. Like, you really are the best friend ever. Meanwhile, the symbiote is just existing like a jellyfish with not a thought in the world.
Right.
It's all just programmed. Like,
it could
be. Give a shit.
Yeah, like a parasitic infestation when like a mushroom grows on like an ant and all that weird like takeover shit.
A cool theory.
But now we know for a fact it talks. It keeps talking in all the new comics and stuff. So.
And I want to say that there was Halo lore where similarly the suit that Master Chief wears takes care of it, right? And that was
that's a very famous meme.
Written a meme that from a novel page or something like that.
And maybe it's just weird for me to think this way, but I would have assumed that Master Chief is so stoic that he wouldn't even get sexually aroused. That would have been like my thought. Like, he's just so middle of the road, like personality.
Spartans are built different, right? Like they.
I mean, in for 40K, it's like written that they eat their organ or whatever to gain telepathy with their stomach. So that's the thing in Warhammer. So if they can make that shit up, then Master Chief could have some weird stuff when they're made as super soldiers.
There you go.
Be completely all right. Just don't do the dumb emotion chip from the news show. That was dumb. I like the emotion chip.
I didn't see.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, if our viewers decided to like an hour ago just skip ahead to 1 hour later and be like, what? How did we get here?
I warned you. I try. It is what it is, man. Hey,
there's we do this all the time.
Did you guys know that Jesus' name, Yosef, would technically translate, or no, Yeshua would translate into Joshua in modern day tongue, and his father's name is Joseph, which means his full name would be Joshua Joseph. Or in other words, Jesus Christ was the original JoJo.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Joshua.
There's artwork for it too already and shit. I think Woolie already knew.
Of course. Oh yeah, we're deep.
I couldn't
in
catch
here.
him with a JoJo meme.
No, you can't. You're not gonna catch me lacking in these streets. Nuh-uh.
Have you read up? Have you followed the manga, or are you just following the anime?
I've started JoJo Lands, and I've I'm like only a couple chapters in, but JoJo Leon is I've struggled to finish it, unfortunately. I've read all the rest, of course, like every time, but
Same.
I've stopped and started JoJo Leon like 4 times, and it's been hard.
Yeah, it's even it's the longest part too. So
Do you
good
really
luck.
want to do this? Do you really? Are you really trying to? I mean, look.
Okay, you know, I don't know.
My brain turned off. Stop it, Sonic. It's my job
just,
to stop him. Stop it, Sonic.
Like
Wait,
you
okay,
unironically start going down this direction, and I'm telling you, it's done. Like
No, you just brought up Jesus, and there's a thing. Anyways, so
Tell you what,
how about
Woolie, would
let's
you
try
have
to
watched MK Ultra Girls? Would you have watched that show?
yeah,
Knowing what you know
absolutely, absolutely. You do it for the memes. You got to do it, right? You have to find out what we're doing here. And you know, Attack on
Exactly.
Titan did like Attack on Titan High School.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
There's been precedent for this type of thing before. And I feel like if you're not gonna have these wild fatalities, which you can't do, then are they gonna make reference to them? You know what I mean? Like, are they gonna
for
do like
sure.
friendships
Yeah.
instead, or are there gonna be little moments of, you know, like Jax gets a giant boot for his birthday, or like, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of little hints at something dark are we gonna show? You know?
I wonder if that's what the Sonya thing with Frost was, because the image of those two together was it going to be Sonya beats Frost and he's get finish her, and then she's just holds out a hand and it's mercy or friendship, and he's like, hang on, no, this isn't right. This is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cassie,
Or you
by the way.
like
The
you have
giant
an
C on her belt.
You have an episode where like Sonya kisses somebody, and then it's like you hear the music. It's like da da da, and then there's like
Wait, what's going on?
and then they just blush. They just go oh, like she kissed me.
Thank God that she remembered to keep the safety on when she kissed him. Otherwise, it could have been terrible.
Safe. Or the lip
been
condom. The lip condom from the Batman and Robin.
It would be hard to brainstorm these ideas, but it would also be really cute if things did get really violent. You would only think it's violent for a split second, and then it would be revealed like, oh, they were actually punching a cherry pie or something.
Oh yeah.
Slashing on
Lots
them. It wasn't like someone else's guts or whatever.
Lots of cafeteria ketchup jokes for sure.
Beating up a pinata and stuff. Oh, the candy
Exactly.
blood. So that's we are on the 2 hour and 30 more points. So let's try to aim for like one more topic before we end the episode.
Can I
Can
run
we
to the
take
bathroom?
a quick break just before that?
Yes.
Sure, let's do that for like our.
I
finale,
already
then.
did. You guys are amateurs. The key is to slip out right in the middle of someone's
I
I
voice.
saw that and I was like, I don't know what the etiquette is here. I'm not going to assume that just getting up and walking away mid conversation is par for the course. But
Yeah,
apparently we're good to go.
Exactly.
So-
Look, our guest knows the house rules better than you, dog. How dare you?
I just
Yeah,
didn't,
Bad
I didn't want
dog.
to make everyone stop for me. I was trying to be polite in my own way.
All right.
When you try to be polite, makes you more impolite.
Looks like I'm second place. Didn't Toronto Dog just use the bathroom too?
Yes,
So
I believe so.
guess
Leaky
he's
boy.
gone too. Oh, he brought up the he just brought up the Challenge Tower 300 video just to you
Oh,
were you the one, so you were the one who like got challenged by Max and did the Kung Lao like one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, that was badass.
It just and it was just unfortunate then, like it was just unlucky that it's like as a legitimately like tricky and hard challenge, it was something that I had learned the bullshit method for beforehand. So it was just one of these things where it's like, oh yeah, the AI actually has a way to exploit it if you just kind of fucking don't play.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like 7 hours of, and then you're just like, fourth try.
But
Oh, we're talking about this video. Nice.
Well, no, it's just I mean, they did it legitimately. Like this is not,
Yeah.
you know. In our case, it was just bullshit. But it was just like, yeah, already kind of, already knew that. But
A couple months ago, I did a Challenge Tower 300 video myself, tried it out, and I watched Max's video and your video like constantly just to get like the tips to do like and whatnot. It still took me 14 hours.
okay.
Like,
What a warrior. I can't even attempt a challenge for more than 1 hour without being like, I have better things I'd rather be doing. And I just give up. The quit in me is strong. I'm a strong quitter.
Quit in you
I
is
just
strong.
give up.
Fighting game AI.
I will say though.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, similar to what you learned when I was playing Street Fighter V, because if you beat it again on the hard difficulty, you get the money again, like a big dump of money, like fight money. So I wanted to beat it on the hardest difficulty to get that fight money, and for the most part, it wasn't that bad, except that, as I saw even watching Maximilian dude play it, the AI does sometimes cheat. Like Bison can do walk forward scissor kick,
Yeah.
which should not be possible.
Yeah. Walk forward, flash kick. Sonic boom.
And what I learned, though, as an exploit is very similar to your thing, where you're stun locking them forever with Kung Lao, and they just don't block. They just keep trying to interrupt. They're like, frame trap? What's a frame trap? Attack enemy. Like, they don't get it. Similar with M. Bison, I would do reuse forward heavy punch, a little doosh, doosh, little gut punch, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the AI
strike.
blocks it, because... Yes, exactly. And of course, the AI is too smart to get hit by a non-mix-up move, so it just blocks it. But here's the exploit. The AI cannot fathom what invincibility frames are. So what I would do is just do DP right after that, and the machine is probably thinking, but he's at minus. It's my turn. But I would just keep doing that. Forward heavy punch, DP. Forward heavy punch, DP. And it didn't have the answer. And that's how I beat the final boss of Street Fighter V story mode.
There you
with
go.
Ryu.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah. No, like fighting game AI is kind of like set up in a way that it's very exploitable and predictable, because it usually is just like they're gonna cheat in a lot of cases, right? But if they don't, or even if they do, it's just like, if you're standing this distance from me, then it's gonna run a probability check on all these abilities, and then likely go for this one or that one. You'll see, if you pick dynamic mode in Street Fighter 6, you actually get to sort of see what it does, and like you can control it to some degree, because dynamic mode will change what every button does according to how close or far you are from the opponent, and like those things that it changes to are what the AI options become. And then like there's a video that recently that went up of like Mega Man X with like the boss pattern, and then you can see the probability that it's going to do action A, B, or C.
Oh, cool.
Right? And you can like stand closer, and when you stand far away, the options switch to like another set of far ranged options, and then like as long as you're within these thresholds, it'll go through those. So all this to say effectively that like once you kind of like, it's very exploitable, and like one of the earliest ways in Street Fighter 4 to just unlock everything was grab Zangief, hit that lariat button, and never stop, because the AI always tries to like either tech a throw or do some sort of interrupt or do something, and it never blocks it. So for some reason, lariat just was it broke the pattern.
Yep.
When I was, because I made a video basically going through the Mortal Kombat 9 story mode, and when I announced that, everyone is like, "Oh, you're gonna have a super hard time against the sub bosses in Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is gonna be so bullshit. You're gonna not be able to handle it." And I'm very bad at fighting games, and for some reason I torture myself and turn it on the hardest difficulty. So fighting like the tag team fights in that was torture. Like playing Raiden and going in like the final chapter and fighting like the 3 characters in Netherrealm all at once with 1 health bar. That took me like super long. That was like, I was like about to lose it. And then Shao Kahn took me like 5 or 10 minutes because it's like, yeah, it's BS. It's like, it's cheap, but like if I play cheap, or if I know the pattern, it's like how to like counter it a lot easier. I kind of treat it like a Dark Souls boss, because I really like Dark Souls. So I'm like, I know what you're gonna do. So basically, when you do it, then I can punish it. And when you do stuff, it'll be like easy to handle. Whereas like you fight like AI, like, okay, sure, they have easier moves, but it's like, I'm not good at fighting games, so I can't react as well. So it's a different mindset when playing that too. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Souls bosses are a pretty solid example of like what should be fun AI to fight against, you know? The ability to like see the pattern, recognize it, and kind of like it's difficult to deal with it first, but then there's a clear weakness to it. But when you're fighting in with a character that has to be otherwise playable by another human being, then like it's more about like reading their patterns and spacing and those little things like that are you want to kind of resemble different types of players, you know? So something I've seen a couple games are starting to do now, but not enough in my opinion, is there's a game called Footsies, which is by the guy who runs the High Fight Twitter account, and Them's Fighting Herds as well has
Footsies, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's kind of a little like simple fighting game where you just kind of walk around and try to play footsies with each other. Them's Fighting
It's a simple art style, right?
Very simple art style, yeah. Them's Fighting Herds,
yeah.
The former My Little Pony fighting game, does this too, where there's AIs that'll be like, this one is called Grabber, and it's like a character that's going to constantly try to dash up and grab you, and it'll do other stuff, but their main method of attack is this, and you have to deal with that. Here's someone that's just going to hold down back all day, and you better start learning to grab that, and if the person's teching, then do an overhead or do something, try to find a way through that, you know? Here's a zoner, and it's like not just like the character's moveset is like leaning towards this, but the way the person is playing and their habits and what they tend to do. Here's a person who will always do a wake up DP, you know, like learn to respect that, and like by putting in little things like that, you kind of train people to be used to it in a live environment.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because MK11 had AI. You could like make your character into an AI and have them fight for you.
Yes.
But what I found funny is you could crank the dials based on how you wanted them to play. You could do like the zoner dial was up and the combo dial was all the way down or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem is some characters, the AI did not know what their combo routes were for whatever reason. So if I tried to put Frost's combo meter all the way up, it didn't know. It would do like these 2 hit confirms and do a special move that was too slow to combo in that situation. So it would just never get the combo. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't know.
So this is where I guess I'll take the opportunity to go into this thing I've talked ad nauseum about. So if people have heard me say this before, if you listen to my stuff, then, you know, I apologize. But I want as many people to hear this as possible because it's something fighting games need to do. AI is, they talked about it at the fighting game roundtable as like, you know, this is something we're looking at and we're trying to see how to improve AI in fighting games, says Harada. Meanwhile, we're all just like, for the love of God, dude, please roll back. Just please get the rollback working. But anyways, thank you. So MK11, right? So there's that. There's Killer Instinct developed Ghost Fighters where you could train a fighter, and same for Samurai Showdown. They all had ghosts that would build an AI around your character style, and the core mechanic, essentially, you could see it break down into the game will record how often do you do a wake up DP, what do you tend to do on wake up, do you block, do you tech, do you backdash, do you do nothing, and you play more matches, and then it'll take all the things you tend to do and then the percentage of how often you do them and then put that into the ghost, right? It'll look at whether you rush down or whether you stay spacing neutral in neutral situations. And effectively, every time the situation becomes a recordable one, it'll try to take your habits and then the percentage of how often you do them, place that into a thing, right? So it's fun and cool to be able to make this kind of ghost feature, and then you can fight it back against it. Virtua Fighter 4, I want to say, did it as well, where you could fight against famous players and their styles in different arcades in Japan.
Oh, that's really cool.
Right? But to me, this is almost like that's the second most interesting thing you can do with this technology. The first and premier most interesting thing is if the game is able to analyze and see that you tend to do wake up DP every single time you wake up, and then realize that, hey, you lost this match because your opponent blocked it and then beat you by punishing it every time. May at the end of the match have a little thing that's like, hey, by the way, this is a punishable thing, and do you want to learn how to, or you lost to this move, like did you want to learn how to train against it, you know, or like just a little tip Like, so you give
Oh.
like at the end of your match, give you 3 little pieces of information, perhaps. And like, if you care, you can just learn, oh, this is how you beat that, or how you avoid this, or this is a you know, like, and you look at how they played, and you can give a little tip on how to improve, because so many people trying to learn how to get better at fighting games often don't know where to start, and they don't know where, and the game is just kind of leaving you to your own devices. Training modes are getting a little better at that. 6 has done a lot of work, but they're not fully helping you. You kind of have to push yourself to some degree. And if the game could tell you straight up, like, hey, you lost to this thing, and like, you know, like this is a weakness that, like, if you ever overcame it, you'd be able to like not deal with this problem in the future. You know, encouraging someone by just like seeing that data would be such a cool thing to do, to be able to press a button and just jump back into that moment and be like, here, try to counter this, you know, jump over that grab, or something like that.
Isn't Tekken like gonna do that in the newest game?
Yes.
Didn't they have like the replay mode?
Replay takeover. Tekken announced it. The first game to do it was Guilty Gear Accent Core, where where like any game that supports rollback technically can do this, right? What you have is the ability to jump into a replay and then take control and then change the history of what happened, so you can learn to block a mix up.
Super sick.
It's super sick, and I really like want to see more fighting games do that. That's one of the best things ever. But like, someone who doesn't know how to play might not know where to jump in and take over, and what, you know, that they might not intuit what the right moment is. So letting the AI recommend 3 key moments in that match that you want to improve on is something that I think like would go super far and help people, because in fighting games, the experience bar is not shown on screen. It's in here, and you don't know when your experience bar has leveled up, because you see a match that you lost and you played way better than you did last time, but you don't know that you've played better because you just feel like you lost. And finding ways to let people like actually know that they overcame something, that they learned a little bit more about the game and how to play and stuff, is like encouraging and would keep people around longer. There's my TED talk.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to it.
That is a great speech,
Hell yeah.
honestly. Yeah, that will help the fighting game community so much. All those suggestions.
That's also on a similar but slightly less related idea. In Mortal Kombat, ever since 11, they've added those like daily and weekly challenges. So even if you lose the matches all day long, you still performed like 30 uppercuts, so you get money for that.
Right.
You still competed in 5 matches. I like that, but it needs to be in real time, so that even when you lose the match, it shows like your progress towards each goal. Because then you're like, oh, I didn't win, but I got close to like this XP goal, so that's cool. Like, you know, I think we need more of that. And also, get XP when you lose. Like, even in first-person shooters like Call of Duty, I still leveled up when I was losing matches, so I kept playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, just like there's your ranking, and then like a level up meter for just like playing and unlocking things as well is fun for a lot of people. And games tend to have that. Not every game does, but it is a good inclusion.
MK1 is having that too, right? Like, you level up the character you're playing and the cameo character you're using too. So like there is a little bit of that there too, over there.
Something that I do, so on Get Into Fighting Games, we have these episodes called The Newcomers, and that's basically someone who's never played a fighting game before sitting down and touching it for the first time.
Oh, that's fun.
They've been really fun, yeah, and so far we've gotten some really good episodes out where like some folks have just kind of learned to just press buttons and just feel it out, right? And it is a way of showing people that are otherwise intimidated that it's not that scary, you know? There's nothing, you don't have to go reading too much about any game beforehand. Just pick it up, boot it up, and do what looks cool. But something that we always do is we go, hey, for this match, like let's go fight against the computer, right? Like whatever difficulty level, doesn't matter, you're playing for the first time. But like your goal is not to win this match. Your goal is to just land a super, you know? So we just did training mode, you learned how to do it. See if you can do it in the match at all, and if you can land it on your opponent. And like by just having a little small mini achievement for the match that's not winning, you're already like focused on something besides the binary zero-sum state that is you lose, you know? And a lot of people that like are kind of on their own, come in, they lose a bunch and they go, this isn't fun. I didn't want to just buy a game to feel bad about it. And then they just like drop off. If you have other little things that you like can accomplish, you know, try to land a combo, try to land a little level 3, you did it. You know, that's something to focus on that actively makes you a better player, but it's the micro step in between like the major ones that eventually will allow you to win, you know, but right now fighting games don't pay attention to those steps.
Yeah.
For sure. What was our final topic? Was it this?
I guess.
Sorry.
I think that's a great way to do. And
Are we still in the limbo? Are we in the in between?
what did you guys think about Omni-Man's cake? No,
Damn it, Sonic! We're done with Omni-Man. Please let us move on. Don't keep me here any longer.
yeah, I actually think that's a pretty great way to like end the episode, which is a light at the end of the tunnel for fighting game communities. Like some suggestions, some ideas of what we're doing, and I really do think the fighting game community is like getting pretty big and is going to get like pretty damn big this year and the next, with how like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken all coming out with a game like around like within a year. So it's gonna be like a pretty.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yep.
Project Go.
And hopefully as well, the other thing is that with all this, like, you know, these great games popping off and a nice resurgence of the genre again, I want to see all these games copying each other's homework, you know, like quality of life updates that occur in one game should become standard. You know, there's these things that like they took so long for them to happen, but now we expect them right off the bat. When you press start to pause, there's a hold start to pause, right? So you don't like interrupt the game accidentally by pressing a button or in a tournament type setting, you know, making it so that you can set your buttons by just tapping them instead of scrolling to each one. It took a long time, but we eventually got to a place where they just have it all like quickly doable. So, you know, I want to say like, yeah, if hey, look, MK shows you a Wi-Fi indicator or a, you know, wired indicator, every game should be doing this, right? Every game, like just little quality of life things. And now Street Fighter's got training mode settings that are like way more detailed than others. The ability to like have replay functions and a frame data meter in the game that is, you know, informative and stuff. Move lists with a little video and description of what the move does. Mortal Kombat, please. What are we doing? You know, stuff like that. Steal each other's homework, guys. Make the whole game, the whole genre better. You know.
Whenever a
My
fighting
favorite
game
example of that.
I'll be really fast. What? I was gonna say it's
Just gonna
really
go
fast.
ahead.
I was gonna say it's like whenever a fighting game is announced, every time it's just like, oh, it looks cool. Rollback netcode, please. Rollback netcode. Always in the comment section. And luckily, they are catching on now. I find out.
Finally.
No, it's not made here, so we're not going to do it. So, for me, the best example of that, like one game doing it, and then finally every game adding it, was frame data. At first, it started off being in just practice mode. Like in Injustice was the first fighting game I played that just straight up showed you the frame data for every single attack. What's it like on block? What's it like on hit? What's the recovery time? What's the startup time? Awesome. And then they kept it in. And then in later games, they had real-time frame data where you can just see it on screen as you play. No need to even go to pause menu. Just look at it in real time. Here's what the actual stats are. And then Tekken 7 messed up at first. They made you pay for frame data, which was a miss. That was a miss.
What?
But
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah.
You have to buy it.
Frame data.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which was odd because there was already an app called Tekken Chicken that had all the frame data like in it anyway. So you didn't need to, but they don't own that. So they couldn't monetize that. But yeah, now finally it's everywhere. Street Fighter 5 added real-time frame data at the end, and 6 has it too. The bar is really cool in 6 too. The little bar that shows you everything is a very interesting way of conveying stuff. So yeah.
And when you turn it on, you just get this little message that pops up that says, "Hey, I know this is pretty scary. It's pretty. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's just if you want to know, you could use it, but you don't have to. You know, like there's like this big, like it's like a disclaimer. It's fine. It's okay. You're not gonna be, you know, it's not a make or break. You know."
I think one time that happened was when the first time you boot up Mortal Kombat 1, it'll be like a robot voice. Do you want the disabled voice to talk about it? What what is this? That really creeped me out first time I heard that.
Hey, listen, that automated voice is great for memes though, because it even describes the actions in the scene, which understandably so. It's not just dialogue. But the reason that's funny is because it gets like a bit like creative with the verbiage sometimes. Like it doesn't simply say reptile continues to walk forward. It says like reptile trudges onward. And I'm like, yes, reptile does trudge onward.
Is that in story mode too? Can you actually turn that on there?
Yeah.
I gotta try that.
It describes what's happening.
That sounds really funny.
I mean, that accessibility in Street Fighter 6 lets like you can play the game blind. Like you can literally not look at the screen and use the beeps of the game to play,
I think, wasn't there like some blind players actually like joining some tournaments and winning
a Honda
stuff?
player. There's a Honda player that won on stream at Evo.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Let's go. And what's also the only downside to that, which this is my own skill issue. My headphone for some reason on the left side when using this Yeti does not work. So I don't hear out of the left headphone. Because Street Fighter 6 has that amazing surround sound style feature where you can tell which side of the opponent's on and all that. If I get pushed all the way to the left corner, the game goes mute.
Oh.
It's supposed to be in this ear and it doesn't work.
Okay.
So I legit can't hear the game with that default setting. I had to turn it off. But that's just a skill issue. That's my own fault. Snake, what do you want to see added in fighting games in the future?
Good story modes. That would be nice.
Based.
Generally, the ones we've been getting for like a decade have not been particularly good. Even putting the writing aside, it's the mode itself is.
Oh.
So some of them do try. No, I'm infamously not a fan of the NetherRealm story modes. I've been
Because you hate
writing
the
all the
chapter
structure.
system. You hate being locked into one character. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in this game, because Kung Lao doesn't have his hat for the first chapter, we don't get to use his hat in the story mode.
Yep.
So I like one to try, like Street Fighter 5, when that one has, you switch between characters all the time, and you get to use, I think, everyone on the roster. Tekken 7 was similar, but you only get to play as a small selection of characters that are directly relevant. And so both have strengths and weaknesses there. Like in Street Fighter, it's not trying to cram everybody into a plot they don't work in, whereas Tekken's just focused on like 5 characters. So it is difficult to balance, but I think trying not to just do the basic cinematic structure would be beneficial. Like I think Dead or Alive 5 did an interesting approach where it'll jump all around the timeline between different characters. Or in Tekken 6, we can just DOA 6, we can just choose this scene to play, and then you can choose this scene about a completely different character, and just proceed at your own pace.
Yeah, cool. I think that's one of the things that like copy homework is from Mortal Kombat 9. It's like after that, people were just like, okay, I guess that's the standard now, guys. That's all. Try this out. What was I going to say? Which actually is sort of one thing that I do actually kind of appreciate World Tour is it's a much more different mode compared to other fighting games as we have like right now and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I want it for Mortal Kombat real bad. I want a Mortal Kombat World Tour where I just go train with my favorite character and then get text from them and like flirting.
No, I think the winning formula will probably be a fusion of both the cinematic story modes and a world tour type situation where you'd go enter a chapter would be like, hey, you've met this character. Now that character and you are gonna like be like a party. They're gonna follow you around, and you'll be doing stuff where you could talk to each other, do whatever the story is doing. You can hang out with them for an extended sequence, not just have them stand still, but like do a bit of plot with them, and then when the time comes on to move to another location or another thing, you know, you can still have your own custom character doing stuff, but you're also getting to spend a lot of time with a given fighter and like learning about them and doing a bunch of things with them, you know. That would be a really cool way to just bring it all together, you know?
Yeah, because like even in the Mortal Kombat like story modes at NRS, it's like the two downsides with the chapter system is one, there are characters who are not going to be in the chapters and they're going to like eat shit throughout the entire story. Like Kano in all 3 stories
never like really has any wins or anything. So if you're a Kano fan, you'll be like, why should I like this character? Like, he just constantly loses. And then the other thing is like, once your character's chapter is gone, like 90% of the time they will lose everything later on in the story and stuff like that. Like that's sort of like how it's been going. So there are some of those like issues in that aspects.
We can all agree that Guilty Gear Strive did it the worst way. It's still cool someone tried it, but they have the worst story mode where it's legit
This
just
I
a
didn't
like
see.
5-hour long movie.
It's just a movie.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
What do
There's
they
no
do?
interaction.
Guilty
There's no
Gear
interaction
Stories
at all.
Guilty Gear Stories are just a movie. You just watch like almost like, and in some like at first they started out as basically like visual novels where like you just pressed A to go to the next text dialogue. Like you can kind of let it autoplay now, but you're watching a multi-hour long cutscene essentially. It's there's no game there. Yeah. I mean it's one way to go about it. I feel like if they made a bad like moment of interactivity in those stories, it would have been like even worse somehow. Like if they had to force like these little matches here and there. Because I feel like Melty Blood, for example, was a series where you'd do like 20 minutes of reading, you'd play a 1-round match of a fighting game and go back to 20 minutes of reading, and it was like, why even bother at that point?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Truly the Metal Gear Solid of fighting games.
It's the Strand type game of fighting games.
That's wild.
We can figure it out with a happy medium in there, But yeah, copy the homework. Put hitboxes in the games. Put all kinds of like hey, when you're watching matches from a spectator point of view, the background always changes. So like it doesn't always have to be training mode if the players in tournament want to do that. Lots of little things.
I'm so jealous that somehow Tekken, which is a 3D fighting game, so this should be way harder to pull off, but they've had it for like 3 games already now, and 2D games haven't copied it. At least Mortal Kombat hasn't. You can let me know if Street Fighter has. In Tekken, when you go online, you can pick your preferred side, and no matter what side your opponent prefers, you'll both be on that side somehow. It flips it somehow. So you can both be on the left side.
Insane.
Blows my mind. But if it's possible in a 3D game, there is no way it's not easier to do in a 2D game where the background doesn't even change based on sidestepping and stuff. So do it, Mortal Kombat. Let me always be on left side. I don't
Hey,
want to be on the
Mal,
right
come
side.
on. You can't expect that much from a player 1 advantage in Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, come on. They gotta fix that first.
That's bad. You can't have that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is fixed though, luckily. But yeah, that was insane.
In
week
Street
late.
Fighter, you can say what your preferred side is, and it'll match you up with people. And like if they have an opposite or if they have either, then it'll just give you the preference. Essentially.
That's cool.
If you
Like
both want the same side and there's no other matches, I think it'll force you to the opposite. But you can do it. Regardless. I just know that, like, for me, even though I do have a preferred side, I set it to either anyways, because in offline tournament situations, you never know where you're going to sit, and to be at a disadvantage because I'm in the wrong seat sucks. So I want to get as good as I can on both sides, regardless.
Very
Gotta
smart.
do
Yeah,
the
makes a lot
old
of
Sonic
sense.
Fox coin toss.
Yeah,
Gotta
seat
demand
switch,
it.
baby. Seat switch tech. Hell
Was
yeah.
there a player 1 advantage in Dragon Ball? What?
Nope. Just a cooldown on the rage meter, and poor Goichi's rage meter went down in the time it took to switch chairs. I don't know. There's a bunch of lore on that.
I pulled that off in a tournament with my co-host Reggie. Like we were in grand finals at a Marvel tournament, and I was like, I'd like to request a seat switch, and he's like, you motherfucker! Got it.
That's awesome.
There you go. It's in the rules. You can do it.
Well, this has been actually an amazing experience chatting with Woolie on our episode of the podcast. Where can they find you? What do you do? Who are you? What are you doing in this house? No,
Well, it's been a couple hours. If you're wondering, like, who the fuck, who is this dude?
We did forget. That's right. We never give an introduction. What the heck? Who?
He said
My
Woolie.
name's-
That's about it. Thank Woolie.
Yeah, hey, my name is Woolie. I have a channel called Woolie Versus.
Hi. Welcome to the
And,
Combat Kings, Woolie.
Yeah, I my bio online is I want to show you why fighting games are cool. Now that is a bit of a lie
Nice.
because I don't just play fighting games. In fact, I spend a lot of time playing other things. Because as it turns out, people like other things a lot more than they like fighting games. But I'm trying to change that. So you can check out my channel Woolie Versus on Twitch and on YouTube, and I'm do Let's Plays regularly of different things. So I mentioned, something like World Tour. I'm currently playing through things like Baldur's Gate, just went through Mass Effect, Disco Elysium, all these different
Nice.
types of games, and Armored Core, big mecha fan, etc. Yeah, that is what we do on the regular. And then every week we play fighting games on a show, Get Into Fighting Games, where we'll, play for fun. We'll play for glory sometimes. We'll get a guest on or just dick around, do whatever, but kind of just press buttons and show you what's fun about all these different games and dig into the barrel and sometimes pull out like the dankest, most forgotten garbage fighting games, not just the favorites as well. So yeah, come check us out. And I've also got a podcast called Castle Super Beast that I record with Pat Stares At every week as well. And that's basically what I do. I'm on Twitter at Woolie Wools.
Awesome. We're really bad at ending these episodes. We have to try to think of some very boring thing.
Okay, bye.
So which?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say so which JoJo is your favorite part? By the way, I'm just curious.
Okay.
Go into your sock again.
Forcing it. We're forcing it now. Yes. No. All right. My favorite JoJo is Josuke.
Interesting.
Josuke
Okay.
is my favorite protagonist. My favorite villain is Poochie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But the
wouldn't have to say
best part of JoJo is always and forever Steel Ball Run.
Oh. Okay.
Anime watchers have no idea what they're in for. They're in
Get
for
ready.
the best JoJo ever fucking goes. It's coming. Once they figure
Yeah.
out how to animate those horses, it's gonna be weird.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, basically, that's the hard part. Yeah, there was another anime. It's called White Box. Essentially, it's an anime talking about making anime, and the finale, one of the finales of that arc of getting the anime out was literally they had no idea how to draw horse riding, and they had to talk about all the details of how hard it is. And I'm like, is this what's going on in Steel Ball Run right now?
oh my god, it's the hardest ever. But if they can figure that out, boy, are you guys in for something. And if they can't figure it out, then I expect we'll just get we humbly apologize, but we will not be animating this part. It is too hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be CGI then, just CGI horses. There you go.
I mean, you could do
go.
that, but I could just see David Production just being like, Moshe Waka Arimasen, we can't do it, and goodbye. Please read the
Wait 10 years later.
volumes. Yeah.
We're gonna skip part 7. We're just gonna start animating JoJolian. So we people would talk about who's your favorite character, what's your favorite parts and stuff like that, and I'll be like, okay, there's maybe this isn't my favorite part, but I specifically really like this character in that part or this villain and stuff like that. Steel Ball Run, in my opinion, has 4 characters. I love them. They're I really like these characters. It's that impressive of of a part.
No, the slow build and the momentum, and then I feel as if anyway, my short spiel on it is always that JoJo is an amazing run of this world and these characters and everything you love, and then 6 is this bitter sweet farewell to the things you love, and then 7 Steel Ball Run is kind of a little bit of hey, so remember that remember everything we love about this franchise? How about we fucking pop some champagne bottles and celebrate? And it's the Great Gatsby gif of Leonardo holding the glass, just you know, cheer, like holding it out to you, the viewer. Like that's what Steel Ball Run is. It's a celebration of JoJo, and it's long and good, and just again, I can't wait for people to see it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
man.
so excited for that. That one is. My friends are all like, I just finished part 5. I'm gonna go to part 6. You can consider just skipping it and going to part 7. You know, that's how much like they really wanted me to just like read that part and stuff.
Don't skip parts. We don't skip parts.
Don't skip.
We don't skip. That's what I was. That's why I said.
Except for the part where I totally said earlier that I almost kind of skipped JoJo Leon. Like we don't skip parts except for when we skip parts. But anyway, yeah.
JoJo Land's too interesting. I want to know what happens there. It
I love
actually
when the
is.
studio. The studio themselves was like getting after people, and they said like they're watching part 6, I guess, by itself, and we're a bit confused what's going on. And I think one of the actual people at the studio went, "We didn't animate all 5 parts painstakingly for you to skip through them."
No,
yeah,
but
exactly. Fuck
but
you
the
guys.
problem is that in North America, like, okay, if you happen to catch for the first seasons on Crunchyroll, that was where you did it, and then like Netflix just kind of got JoJo out of nowhere one day, and then 6 showed up, and some people were seeing JoJo for the first time when part 6 was like on the main page. Stone Ocean was on the main, you know, so. You might have just come in late going, wait, what's going on? You know, and for other people, they're like, I remember watching the 1993 like movies. What's all this then? You know, and it's like, oh my God, it's been not a clear cut way to digest it. So
Yeah. Stone Ocean's release was very tragic in my opinion. Just that whole entire thing.
the momentum killer.
Why? Yeah.
Having to wait for parts.
Part 5 had so many great memes. Part 6 could have had that if it was weekly, but nope.
But they binged it.
Netflix doesn't know what that is still. Well, actually, I think the zombie show is finally doing it. Like they're finally letting animes release weekly on Netflix. But
It depends. Sometimes it's still weekly. So there are some animes back then that were weekly on Netflix still, from what I
maybe
recall.
the difference is if Netflix themselves are producing it, then they demand that it be released in parts.
That's that. I believe that's how it kind of goes exactly if they're funding it. But I know they experimented with weekly updates because like a while ago there was that Hassan Minaj show and like Terrace House were like coming out like one by one every week, you know. But JoJo benefits from the slow burn. It really does, and I think we all appreciated that over the last 5 seasons. And for 6, it just dropped, and everyone went, "Oh shit! Oh fuck! It's here!" And then
the 13 episode drop drops 3 times, not the whole thing too, which may have helped.
Kind of kills the discussion, the
hype
momentum around it, and the hype. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like honestly though, like not to be rude, but it's like part 6. You can have these accidents. Now, part 7 though. Part Steel Ball Run. You better not. You better not mess these things up.
Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. Exactly. Oh, we're done, right? We were. I'm ready to stop recording here. Just.
Oh. Okay.
Are we done? I thought we were still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done. We were
You
done.
guys
That
were
was the joke.
recording? Oh shit.
Did we transition
never-
into being done? I didn't know that we did.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
basically I was like, yo,
didn't know
your
either.
channel, Woolie. Okay, the joke is like, what's your favorite JoJo part? I was gonna end it there, basically.
Oh, I didn't get
you
that
can
that
play
was
a
a
little
joke.
JoJo.
And then I went into
That
a
was a
full-on
joke.
earnest conversation about it. because
I'm
that's
just chatting honestly with you guys right now. That was like I
Gotcha.
already thought it ended, so that's why. I mean, we
Well-
could. That was actually kind of interesting. If you guys did record it, I could still put it in.
Like you have to end that then. Like say like so. What's your favorite JoJo? And then like as you're saying that, do the to be continued meme. Dum, ticka, dum, dum.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, there you go.
So which JoJo is your favorite part?
Do you really want to do this?